Hello? 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 Can you hear us? I can't hear my friends.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. A fantastic first introduction, I'm sure. Hello, everyone.
This is so exciting.
I love what you've done with the place, Tia. I just saw this.
Is this not your? I thought this was supposed to be the Library of Alexandria. So is this not your place, or?
I guess it is, but like I didn't put those banners up. I don't remember doing
Oh,
that.
true. Yeah, that was all me.
Hello. Your VLOSOPHers are here. That's us. Who are we?
All right. Sorry, I'm really overwhelmed right now. I'm very overloaded.
Okay, but being speechless at oneself, I think, is one of the truest signs of a wise character.
I do think thinking does not necessitate speaking too, so it's appropriate.
Okay, but there's...
I'm not a Hufflepuff. Okay, sorry. Let's focus on the. Sorry. I can go first. We can go from left to right if that suits everyone.
Sorry. Let me just take a minute. There's so much going on. There's so many comments, so many people, and first I did want to say that I am sorry about the delay. It is contrary to the bulk of the assumptions in chat. Not Karis's fault this time. It was. I mean, yeah. It was actually mine, if anything. I was having computer issues before the start of stream, like 20 minutes before stream start. My computer like slowed down. It was like, well, Tia, since you're panicking, so will I. And then I had to restart it, and it took like 10 minutes to restart. And I thought that would make it faster, but it actually made it even slower. And I was like, why is this happening to me? And besides that, I also spent all morning, pretty much all morning and all day yesterday making that starting screen. So you guys decide if it was worth the 15-minute delay to have that starting screen.
Worth.
Yeah, I think it totally was.
I've decided.
Yep.
Yay!
We've got 2 votes already, so
Nice,
we might as well.
I also want to attempt to catch up with some of the comments in chat. It might prove a little impossible, just because I can see it moving in the corner of my eye. Tara said, "Of course, there's a delay. I blame Karis." He's not even apologizing for it. Real Karis. And then something non-Karis related. Thiago said, "My favorite Power Ranger color scheme, philosophers." Hannah said Karis being here
has us.
has jinxed it. Of course, there's technical difficulties. Leon said, "I just hear a lot of laughing from Tia's room." There's the Hannah, as at some point Hannah said, "There's no way this is a Tia issue. This feels like a Karis issue." Tia would have made sure this worked ahead of time. I feel I tried my best, but yeah, it was my fault, and I'm owning up to it.
Okay, enough about the commenters, because they're uninteresting. What about us? I feel like we should talk about us. I like us more.
Alright, so... so our first order of business should be introducing ourselves. Sort of as a formality, since I bet a lot of the people watching this know us already, but I'm sure there will be some who don't. So, Karis senpai, would you like to do the honors of starting us off?
Hello, I am Karis Euphranor. I'm the first and last philosopher VTuber, the last librarian of Alexandria, and I am here today as one of 3 in VLOSOPHY.
Beautiful, concise, wonderful. Should I go next?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Axeon, a philosopher VTuber VTuber from beyond the stars and emptiness. I've traveled across many worlds on a quest to understand the truth about the deepest, most foundational questions that thinking entities face, such as questions about what matters, what is real, and how we should live. My true form is an orb of energy and light. Since recently traveling to Earth, though... Sorry, Chris, didn't mean to block you there for a second.
Ow, man.
But since traveling to Earth, I have taken on a human form in order to interact with and learn from humans more easily. And in this new human form, I like to learn about human philosophers, discuss philosophy and writing with others, and help others think more deeply about philosophy.
Hello everyone, I'm Tia Faire, idol philosopher and justice incarnate. I feel like I'm too nervous to say anything else. My dream is to make the world a fairer place, make a just world without senseless suffering. I don't know. This is, well, I'll just say this is my channel, so I'm the one with the least need to introduce myself beyond that.
You know what you're here for. But what are we here for?
Right, so, we should... I'm sorry, I'm so unprepared for this, and this is my fault. We three are philosopher VTubers, in case you couldn't tell already, and we recently announced that we're forming our very own indie VTuber unit called VLOSOPHY. And this is our very first stream as VLOSOPHY. And today we were hoping to do just a simple Q&A session and answer some of your questions, whether they be philosophical questions or personal questions directed at us, whatever kinds of questions. We've already received some submissions on Reddit and on Discord, but throughout the stream, if you have any other questions you'd like to pose to us, feel free to submit them, but no guarantees we'll be able to get to every single one of them. With that said, there are two ways we could go from here. Either talking a bit more about how the group was formed, which I wanted to do, or talking a bit more about our backgrounds as philosophers. I'm just not sure which order to do those in. What do you guys think?
I think I like background first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Okay. So, who would like to
I
start?
should go first. I do not want Axe to go first, because then it would... So I am a philosophy VTuber. I started streaming a year and a half ago. What does that mean? That means sometimes, occasionally, I will click go live and I will say something mildly introspective and hopefully contains an iota of wisdom somewhere in there. Formally, I am a trained philosopher, and what that really means is I'm unemployed. Really, what that means is I have 2 degrees. I am fairly versed in the analytic tradition of philosophy, which has really been more problem-focused, as opposed to the continental tradition of philosophy, which is something I've dabbled in more recently, where the focus is more on perhaps maybe not the history of it, but more the people, the specific thinkers and their frameworks, really, of seeing the world. So I've got a little bit of both in the bag. And what that means is I don't have either of those polished to a very high degree. Currently, I regard myself as an educator. What that means is I really like the philosophy of education. I love what Paulo Freire and John Dewey, I think, are the 2 thinkers. I really like what they're doing. I like some of the contemporary work, that which I might not name in full. And most importantly, my goat, Søren Kierkegaard. He is the greatest. He's a Danish thinker, and he's the greatest of all time for me. And in particular, I'm absolutely obsessed with his interpretation of Socrates. And all of that. So all of that said, it's intellectually a little existential, and practically speaking, that just means I yap a lot. That would be my philosophical background, yeah.
That was a wonderful intro, Kara. Sometimes I think you're a little too modest, though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Axe. Only you could be so nice, not unlike my chat.
So I'll say a little bit about my background. Like Karis, I majored in philosophy in college, and that was really how I fell in love with it. Not that I had no interest in it before, but that was really sort of the moment where I decided, like, yes, I want to spend the rest of my life studying this. And in fact, I liked it so much that I decided to go on to get a PhD in it. After that, I spent a few years teaching philosophy at both the high school and college level. Since that time, though, I've transitioned away from traditional teaching jobs in philosophy and toward being more of a philosophy content creator and VTuber. I've been a philosopher VTuber for about 6 months now. It's been a wild ride, and I can't wait to see what's next. Oh, and for my favorite areas of philosophy, I would say also, like Karis, I'm primarily an analytic philosopher. I don't think I have quite as much continental, or at least not as much recent continental background as you do, Karis. But when it comes to analytic philosophy, I would say my favorite areas are ethics, especially meta-ethics, but also some applied ethics. And also, even though I'm not a religious philosopher, I do tend to like philosophy of religion and find it an interesting thing to talk about with others, whether it's on stream or on Substack or places like that. So I would say those are two areas I often think about.
I guess that just leaves me. I don't think I'll have enough or as much to say as Karis did. But unlike my senpai Karis and Axion here, I am a self-taught philosopher. Meaning I did not study philosophy. I studied business, but I first became interested in philosophy while I was in high school. I think what really drew me in about it was I really liked the idea of becoming better at arguing and sort of making sense of why I was here in the world, and as such, I would say my entry points into philosophy were more or less existentialism and critical thinking. Compared to my senpai, due to my lack of a formal training, I'm not quite as well read in philosophy as you might expect from someone who calls herself a philosopher, but I would like to think that I can still carry my weight as a philosopher, and I want to say mostly through I want to say I'm pretty skilled at arguments and debates, despite the lack of formal experience. I've won a few internet arguments lately that I'm pretty proud of. Although I gotten into philosophy through existentialism, and I feel like nowadays my interest is more in applied ethics, hence the whole justice incarnate branding. And I think that about sums it up. And so, having introduced ourselves, wait, where did my itinerary go? Oh, here it is. So was there anything either of you wanted to say before we proceeded?
I think I'm all set.
Sounds good to me. They'll get to know us through everything else anyways, so.
I think the fact that we have different backgrounds is really cool. I like the fact that we are kind of a diverse team,
Well, I see that we just got a comment in chat that says, I think quote-unquote philosophers should be for the most part reserved for academics or those who have respected published papers or books or other kinds of research. Now, I will I will. I
I
will
think
make.
it's exclusively reserved for Kanye West, actually. Sorry, I just wanted to.
I am sorry. I just want to take a chance to say that both of you have always treated me as an equal in philosophy and have never tried to gatekeep the label of philosopher from me. So I was wondering if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I like to think that even before I had any degrees in philosophy, I was a philosopher simply in virtue of being the kind of person who asked, the relevant questions and thought about them and read about them. And I think that really that is enough to make someone a philosopher. Here I'm also thinking of someone like Socrates. I don't believe he had any published papers in top philosophy journals or anything like that. But nevertheless, to me, he is the prime example of a philosopher. So yeah, for me, I would say that it's not to say that studying philosophy doesn't matter at all. I think that from having studied philosophy, I certainly became a better philosopher than I used to be. I know that when I look back on some of the things that I used to think, I think like, okay, like I was, mistaken about that, or like now I can, from my experiences of talking with other people, those have helped me, I think, become a more developed thinker, but not necessarily more of a philosopher. I was still a philosopher then, just as I am still a philosopher now. So that's the way that I tend to look at it.
I actually think the title of philosopher is solely reserved for egotistical rappers who don't know what they're talking about.
That's the same joke.
So the reason I think this is because throughout my philosophical training, actual philosophers and academics in philosophy oftentimes don't call themselves philosopher because of the implications that come with calling oneself that. There's a certain level of arrogance and ego and sort of self-conceitedness that comes with calling oneself, like assigning oneself the title. And initially, I was really hesitant to call myself a philosopher VTuber in the first place. But then I thought, if I call myself that, people are going to get mad at me, and that would be really funny. And so that's, I think, really the motivation behind why I would call myself a philosopher. Normally, I wouldn't. Normally, I'd be like, well, I don't know. I read into it a little bit, and I guess I did 2 degrees, whatever. It's not really like it's not quite the same as someone who's maybe perhaps published papers. But then, if I just say it, though, somebody's going to be like, actually... And I want that. That's what I want. I want somebody to tell me that I'm not actually a philosopher, because then that way we can start talking about what being a philosopher actually is. And that's all that matters to me. Karis only has one joke. Shut up! Sorry. I forget it's not my stream. Sorry.
Is that how you talk to
sorry, my bad. Sorry, let's move on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just I'm just spitballing here, but I feel like philosophy is just kind of the kind of thing where like, is there a particular harm to non-formally educated people calling themselves philosophers, the same way that there could be a harm in someone who doesn't have like a medical license branding themselves like a doctor? Like, I don't think so. I feel like, on the contrary, there are, if anything, potential benefits to, I don't know, like sort of increasing the presence of philosophers in our society. For my part, one of the reasons I'm so vocal about self-labeling as a philosopher is because I'm just gonna say it. I'm a woman, and I feel like society really badly needs to be sold the idea that women can be intellectuals. And I might just leave it at that. It makes the public
We made really good progress.
It makes the public
Sorry,
take philosophy less seriously, potentially. The public already takes philosophy not seriously. I don't think we can do any more damage on that front.
I don't think anyone should take philosophy seriously, actually. I think it's a terrible idea. I think people should stop doing this, and what everyone should do is do STEM degrees and work at the factory, and then realize that the factory is actually at overcapacity, so no one's hiring anymore, and we can all come out with student loans and debt. And that, I think, is the formative training that really shapes a philosopher. It's not the papers, not the logic puzzles. No. It's the crippling debt that puts you in a position that makes you ask yourself, what the heck am I doing here? What is wrong with me? And what do I do next in my life? Now that is a philosophical formative experience.
I think I'm starting to see the truth of the comment, Karis, that said that you are, in fact, a 10 out of 10 rage baiter. Which is a very noble tradition in philosophy.
Wait. Kira said that. Oh. And then Tara said, I think anyone can call themselves a philosopher, just like anyone can call themselves an artist. The quality of what they produce is a different matter. I think I'm inclined to agree there. Like, I see the title of philosopher being as something like, business person, where some of the best business people don't have a business degree, and but let's not dwell on this. I think we've all given our opinions, so I think we can move on to something else now.
I don't know. I think we should disband the group. I don't feel very comfortable calling myself a philosopher anymore. I'm having second thoughts. I'm doubting myself.
What should we call you instead?
I don't know. Karis Euphonor works. By my full name, not my first name. You have to call me by my full name, my very weirdly pronounced full name.
Okay then.
Sorry, we're detracting from like the main point. We should get back to the stream. Actually, sorry.
I was gonna say, okay, then from now on, you're Karis the Karis Euphonor.
I am Karis the Karis Euphonor, the first Karis and the last Euphonor.
This is very good, though, I think, as an opening stream sort of moment, because philosophers do have somewhat of a tendency to become sidetracked by questions like this. And the fact that, we're doing this on stream right now, to me, it just feels very fitting.
Oh, I do want to add one thing on the philosopher title, though. That is a genuine response, not like not me being annoying, hopefully. I do think the what I would propose to be the sort of the gatekeepiness of the title philosopher should be that anyone who deigns to call themselves a philosopher in any way should be prepared to feel the wrath of philosophical scrutiny at any level and be able to take it, and in fact invite that to them. I think if you are willing to invite heavy rational, or maybe perhaps something that would exceed such rational thought and critique onto yourself and what you believe and your values and what you stand for, I think it's worth calling yourself that.
I would agree with that as well. I mean, now we're getting into sort of our definitions of what a philosopher is, and my go-to definition is just basically anyone who has original ideas and is willing and able to defend them. That's my simple definition of what I think a philosopher is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to think of as philosopher, I suppose, as someone who seeks answers to the deepest questions that humans face, and who seeks them by using reason in particular, like reason as the instrument of philosophers.
Yeah, I think the point about reason is a good one as well. Yoavko says you are yourselves taking philosophy unseriously, like an art, and less like a science. Okay, that is such a short sentence, and yet I object to so many things within it, including the notion that art is somehow less. Okay, first of all, I think philosophy is an art, but that arts are not somehow lesser than sciences. Like, with the first thing, it's like, I mean, like, how is philosophy not an art? Like, it's not like you can take philosophy and like measure it in a lab. You don't say like, I'm gonna go get my like bachelor's of science in philosophy, right?
Well, you kind of can. You can like go and fill papers and check how many citations someone has, and the more citations someone has, the more of a philosopher they are. So if you have 0 citations, you're not. And the most, every year we kill off like the 50,000 like least cited philosophers, so only the real philosophers remain on the top of like philpapers.org. That's generally how we actually do things in academia.
Is this the Hunger Games now?
Also, yeah, art is useless. What is the damn point? Like why should we be doing art? Like it's so annoying. It doesn't feed anyone.
Anyone can call themselves.
I'm sorry. Like this is an interesting topic, but I don't know if we have too much time to talk about it now. What do you think?
That's
Tia?
true. I mean,
do you want to engage with this now?
Anyone can call themselves an artist. Not anyone can call themselves a physicist. And in that respect, it is taken seriously. Well, look, I disagree, and as an artist, and that's final. I mean, I admit that the arts in general are less respected in our society than the sciences are, and in my opinion, that is a problem with society that should change. But trying to force the label of science on philosophy, I think, is first of all dishonest, and second of all, it's not going to fix the underlying issue. And I think that's the last thing I have to say about that.
Sounds good.
Okay, I wanted to talk about how this group was formed. Because
right.
there will be people who are watching this who weren't there from the beginning. Because the three of us have been friends and and streaming together in pairs for a while now, and due to that, we've already grown a bit of a community around us with its own, I want to say, culture and everything. But for anyone who is sort of tuning in now to us for the first time, I want to help get that bunch of people up to speed. And so let's see where. I guess the long and short of it is that Karis is the first philosopher VTuber. And by the way, I was wait, oh no, I was just about to say, as you can see in the logo, and then I realized like there's no logo on the screen. But I guess as you can see, based on the banners that are hanging in the background, so the colors that are in our logo and that we use in a lot of our branding are actually based directly not just on our image colors, but on our debut order. So Karis is the first philosopher VTuber who formally debuted, and then Axion is the second, and I'm the third. And even the way that we're positioned right now in this stream is based on our debut order. So Karis Senpai started streaming about a year and a half ago, and then at some point Axion came along early in the middle of, I guess, in 2025. Axion came along and reached out to Karis, and then and then I found Axion on Reddit, and I watched his debut live and became his day one fan, and then I reached out to him, and then through him I kind of got to know Karis as well, and then of course during that time I was also working on my debut, and then I kind of thought to myself one day a light bulb just kind of flicked on in my head, and I thought wait a minute, there are 3 philosopher VTubers, and we're all pretty great friends, and we have I think pretty great chemistry, so what if we formed a group? So basically I went up to my Oshi and this other guy named Karis, and I was like, hey, you guys wanna start an indie VTuber unit, and to my surprise, they were on board, And this okay, regarding how long this has been in the works, I thought I came up with this idea even before when I was in pre-debut, and I brought the proposal to them during my debut week. So this has been in the works for how long is that? More than 2 months. Yeah, that's how long we've been planning this, and we I think managed to keep it a secret for all that time.
Yeah, it seems about right. And then now we're here. So, what next? What's ahead of us? We know what's behind us now, right? I foresee some questions. That's what I foresee, but I don't know if that's next.
Sorry, I got distracted by chat. I see a comment that's like making me feel very hazukashi, and I can't think.
If you need me and Karis to take over for a second, that's fine.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, let me just bring up the next topic. I think that'll do it. So the next topic was supposed to be discussing since the three of us are both philosophers and VTubers, discussing the philosophy of VTubing. In particular, what is a VTuber? What counts as a VTuber? What is the definition of a VTuber? Why is my model frozen? Okay, I think now it's okay.
Oh,
an age-old question.
Sort
it's
of.
a Gargura, that's for sure.
I can say something if you want, but or if you want to go first, Karis, either way is cool with me.
Sure. I think maybe like less. Maybe I don't want to start with the definition per se, but I want to perhaps get into why the question's interesting. Considering recent times as well, there was wasn't there like a Twitch awards for like best VTuber or something, and then someone who was not quite in an anime avatar won the award, and people who were more fans of the anime avatar subculture of VTubing were quite upset with that. And then that guy went on to do some unsavory stuff, I think, which was interesting. But ultimately, like there was a lot of noise. I think there was a lot of noise in social media debating, and there were lots of debates among people on what a VTuber is and what should count as a VTuber. And there's this sense of like, no, a VTuber is this thing, or a VTuber is supposed to satisfy certain traits or behave in a certain way, or sort of shoot out from a specific subculture. Sometimes that overlaps with like idol culture, Japanese idol culture a lot, because that's kind of where VTubing, I would say, in its current form was popularized. And there is some value to the discussion, but a lot of it was really just ad hominem attacks and sort of like people trying to protect their thing and not wanting people to be associated with their thing. And I understand that, and I think that's kind of what's at stake here for this definition, I would say. I don't know if there's anything more to it than that, but really what I see is perhaps where we can move this discussion forward in defining what a VTuber is, and in like really thinking about what should constitute VTubing, is in how we can perhaps even how we can differentiate it from standard like non-VTubing content creation. I think that while there is definitely overlap, because this is like, this is a subshoot of content. Hopefully this is content for you listening to us yap. But I think moving forward, we can explore what makes a VTuber, why we feel a certain way about Gargura that we don't feel about like Ludwig Ogren, and what the difference is. Like what is there that makes the VTuber the VTuber? I guess that this is me opening the floor to Ax and Tia's perhaps interpretation for what VTubing should be.
Yeah, no, that was a really good preface, and I actually had kind of a similar structure of thought in mind, Karis, where like at first we could think of it just in terms of like, oh, like what's the definition, and maybe like that's a worthwhile question, but perhaps like an even more interesting question is what is distinctive about VTubers, or why does it matter to be a VTuber? And yeah, I do have some thoughts on that, but first I wanted to make some space for you, Tia. Was there anything you wanted to say to follow up on what Karis just said?
I fear that what I say might be quite lacking, as I hardly have a solid answer on this myself. I don't know. I feel like so far my line of thinking is pretty much, well, a VTuber is, how do I say this? I didn't prepare any notes beforehand. Like, I guess it's basically like, where exactly should we draw the line between a VTuber and a non-VTuber? Because I mean, I guess the short version is that I think there are dangers of both making the definition too narrow or too broad.
Mm-hmm. Always a danger with definitions.
I think one of the key things of being a VTuber is the identity of a VTuber that is markedly separate from the way one would present their identity as a flesh tuber, so to speak. So, as much as I love him, Germa985 is not a VTuber because he presents himself as the human being Jeremy. Whereas I only use Gargur as an example, so I should like shift to someone else. So sorry. So Iron Mouse is a VTuber in part because she plays and presents an identity of herself that is separated, or makes an attempt to separate that identity from her human being, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something I could say to follow up on that, which is that if I were to like give the sort of boring definition of a VTuber, it would just be like a streamer and or video producer who uses a virtual avatar. But I think, yeah, when we start looking into what is it that's cool or distinctive or neat about VTubers, there is, I think, something in what you were saying, Karis, that really resonates with my thought too, that perhaps it has something to do with identity and the identity that one presents. What's interesting to me about VTubers is the way that VTubing as a medium seems to blur the boundaries, you might say, between two states that otherwise tend to be quite distinct. And one of those states, like on the far end of the spectrum, is playing a character in the way that one might as, say, like an actor in a movie. Like the first example that comes to mind is like Hayden Christensen, playing Anakin Skywalker. When he's playing Anakin Skywalker on the Star Wars films, it's not, he's not playing Hayden Christensen, he's adopting this Anakin Skywalker persona. But then on the other end of the spectrum, there's simply being one's own self, as say like maybe Hayden Christensen in an interview when he's no longer playing Anakin Skywalker. Or for another example would be like a person, hosting a live stream as themselves in the flesh with no play acting. That would be on the other end of that spectrum. And to be sure, there are some VTubers who play a character in that very traditional sense, where the character might have a personality very unlike their IRL personality. But with other VTubers, and here I include myself, there's more of a blurring of the line between playing a character and simply being oneself. And what I mean by that, just to be a little more specific, is that on one hand, there's lore and there's, presenting with a model, which does not look precisely the way I do IRL, even though there's maybe some overlap. So those are things that are unlike my IRL self, the model and the lore. But on the other hand, I don't make any attempt to modify my personality. The way I act on stream is essentially how I act IRL. And in my own case, not that this is, I think, a feature for many or most VTubers, but like I am open about my IRL identity. I've talked about it on stream when discussing papers I've put out under my IRL name. And at least for me, there's this sort of natural, instant, effortlessly switching back and forth between talking about my character's lore and talking about IRL stuff, even IRL stuff that's inconsistent with my character's lore. For instance, during a stream, I might occasionally talk about IRL experiences that I had in first grade, in a human school and not traveling among the stars. And I think that kind of experience can come up in other kinds of kayfabe too sometimes, like pro wrestling. Like maybe a pro wrestler, like during a match, might be all, gung-ho about the rivalry or the kayfabe or whatever, but then like later in an interview, they talk about like the match scripting, and it's not seen as like ruining it. It's just seen as like part of the fluidity of the kayfabe. But even there, it seems to be the potential for switching between these two modes is not as fast or as radical as in VTubing. And just as a further example of that, like if wrestlers started talking about certain IRL stuff, like during a match itself, like IRL stuff that conflicts with their lore, it would be jarring. It would be seen as ruining the match. Whereas to me, this does not seem to be the case with VTubers, like during a VTuber stream. And so I think that blurring of the boundaries there creates some really cool potential for things like storytelling, the fact that there are all these lore elements, but that are combined with the sense of nevertheless presenting one's own self.
I really like that observation about it being a spectrum. I gotta come clean. I myself haven't put a lot of thought into this question. I had a feeling that my senpai would have a few words to say about it, and considering that we are philosopher VTubers and all, it seemed like we would be remiss not to at least to try to broach the subject a little bit. So maybe we'll move on now, if that's all right with everyone.
I want to add one more thing. I think an additional thing that might define a VTuber, or should come with the territory of being a VTuber. If you're a content creator, like if you stream or if you make YouTube videos or if you post on Instagram or TikTok, you should be very embarrassed of yourself. And if you are a VTuber, you should be extra embarrassed. And I think that if you are extra embarrassed, then that's good. Then you know what's up, and you I think have a good right to call oneself a VTuber.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I haven't. I don't really have any sort of answers of my own when it comes to philosophy of VTubing, because that is, I feel like, a pretty broad and thus far underexplored area of thought. But regarding the definition of a VTuber, I mean, I guess one of my concerns is that let's say we make the definition of a VTuber as simple and as broad as person who makes content while using an avatar, and then that raises questions like, okay, well, what if they're a person who only uses one time and then they never use it again, like. And what if they're like, I mean, people have complained about this, right? Like flesh tubers temporarily trying to cash in on a trend that they're otherwise not really sort of artistically invested in. Like, should that count? And then but if we sort of prop up requirements beyond that, then how far can we get before it gets really complicated and gatekeepy?
Sometimes it does feel like people on the internet are Diogenes running into the lecture hall with the plucked chicken. Behold a VTuber. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes.
I'm just scanning chat to make sure we haven't missed anything crucial to the discussion.
We're having really some members of chat are having a really interesting discussion on like the value of philosophy, I think a little bit earlier, which is pretty cool. We can't address this on stream because then the stream would go on for 10 hours, but I just want to say I love seeing arguments in the chat, but not like, mudslinging ad hominem attacks, but like genuine like engagements with opposing worldviews. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say I really like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tia.
Oh, no, go ahead, Axe.
Okay. I really like this observation that Hannah made when she says, and not only does it not ruin a VTuber stream, that is when a VTuber talks about some certain IRL details, but audiences tend to relish in gaps that peek out between the portrayed character and the actor behind the VTuber model. I think that that's very true.
Wait, okay, this is about the definition again of a VTuber, not philosophy of VTubing. But I just remembered another thought.
We haven't gotten into that yet, I think.
What?
Into the philosophy of VTubing, have we?
No, what have we? I thought we.
Have we gotten into the? Ooh.
Well,
one way I was thinking about my comment was as sort of exploring what is it that's valuable about VTubers, or what is it that's sort of distinctively valuable. I suppose I think of that as
like,
part of the
is
philosophy
that,
of VTubing.
Yeah,
but
is that not part of philosophy
but
of VTubing?
I also think though there's plenty to the philosophy of VTubing beyond that, and so I'm sure that there's lots of potential to explore further questions about it.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think the flips. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe this is sort of. I don't know if it's the reverse of like someone who uses an avatar, or like streams with an avatar once and then never does so again. But like, what if somebody was used an avatar and sort of this fictional identity to interface with the world, but they didn't make. But their thing was not streaming or making videos. Like maybe they're like like a public speaker or an author or something. Like, can that be considered some sort of VTuber, or maybe if we don't want to use the term VTuber, like some other term for it? Like, how exactly does that relate to VTubing?
I'm just trying to think of what an example would be. Like, for example, like let's say they write a book and the like author page, like about the author page on the book, instead of having a picture of them, it has a picture of like an avatar.
And then not only that, but their whole internet presence is like, is that character. Whenever they give interviews, it's like as that character.
I think we're all VTubers, actually. You look inside, like we're all playing a character. We all present that as a desirable sort of version of ourselves. Sorry, I just wanted to throw a wrench into the
you know what?
discussion.
Maybe we should move on.
Oh.
Okay, since we've been doing some serious talk for a while, maybe we should answer a fun question.
Sounds good
Fantastic.
to me.
Okay, this I can't even read this properly. Oh no. Okay, this this one comes from Zero. In the Library of Alexandria, it says, would you okay, would you guys, parentheses, Tia and Axion, slap carers for $1 million?
Oh. Well, slap Karis where?
It doesn't specify. Wait.
Look, I don't care. Give me like 20%. Give me 20 slaps. We're good, I think. Honestly, we can come to an arrangement, I think.
What was running through your mind back there?
Well, I'm just trying to make the question maximally specific so I can, calibrate my intuitions accordingly. Also, can the slap be light or does it have to be hard?
That doesn't specify. I mean, it doesn't specify. I think that's it's on us to interpret it.
This is a tough one. I think though, what I would say is, yes, I would do the slap and then split the money with Karis. And in performing the slap, I would simply presume retroactive consent. That is, I would simply assume that afterward you would probably be okay with getting $500,000 for being slapped.
I'd be happy with that.
My answer is I saw this question right when it was posted, and like my thinking was that what I would do is like I would like dress up Karis in a lot of like padded clothing, you know, like I'd like I'd like tape like pillows to him or something, and then I'd slap him, and then it should be okay because like it shouldn't actually be painful, but it also counts as a slap, I think. So, and then I would take the $1 million and use it to make the world a better place, and then no one should be able to question my decision.
I'm imagining myself being put in like a ball of like just fluff and then just bouncing across the room from the force of the slap.
What?
While you like walk away counting your cash. Mercilessly leaving me to the at the mercy of the law of energy conservation. We're not STEM VTubers, by the way, in case you didn't know. This is gonna keep bouncing on forever. It's bouncing in my mind right now. I'm still bouncing across that room right now from the force of that slap. I'm going at different angles.
No,
Sorry, anyways.
We'll get you out of that stuff. Axe and I will help.
Is that not what you do normally just every day anyway, though, Karis?
Just like put myself in a rubber suit, have someone slap me, and then just ping pong across the room.
Somehow I can see it, you know?
That's honestly most of the writing process for me when I have to write something in philosophy. Yeah.
I see.
All right, next question.
Wait. We just got a question. Karis has been denying his height in his Discord server. How tall is he really compared to you both? So he's taller than me, but shorter than Axe. That's all you basically need to know.
Yep. There you go. Thank you.
I forgot to. That just made me remember something I forgot to do that I wanted to do for this stream, and that was not really a big deal. I can just describe it to you, but I wanted to make like name cards that would temporarily appear over our heads as we were doing our intros, and it would have our name, and as well as our height and date of birth, or like birthday, because that's very like, I don't know, like VTuber-y information. It also went on our Reddit announcement, so
Now this is an exercise in imagination and creativity, dear audience. Can you now picture in your mind, close your eyes, imagine what Tia just said has just appeared right in front of us. Is it on top of our heads right now, Tia? Is it like on our chest?
I'll just tell you. I mean, like I'm 5'4". For artistic purposes, Kara's Euphranor is 174 centimeters.
I'm not that. I'm taller than 174. I thought we were describing where the card would be, not what my height is. Okay, no, my height is taller than that. I'm taller than that, and I'm not gonna say anymore, because if I say anymore, you're gonna zone in on like my actual height that I don't want you to know about. Okay, I'm shorter than Axe probably, and I'm probably taller than Tia. Don't ask. Stop asking me how tall I am. Okay.
I think if you were taller than that, you would just tell us, so you must be 174.
We're not. God. I'm electing to just kind of let this pass.
And Axe is 6'1", so he's a tall boy. Wait.
He is tall. He's tall.
Did you see Hannah's comments?
My vote personally is 140. Get out of here.
The one after that.
Anyone this self-conscious about his height is a short man. I'm not short, okay? I'll have you know I am definitely average height, I think. Probably. I'm definitely taller than 174. Stop talking to me. Whatever. Okay. Next question.
Okay, next question. Okay, this was a surprise question, so I haven't even told you guys about what this one will be in advance, but I wanted to ask, basically, what were your first impressions of the other two members of Philosophy upon meeting them, and how does that first impression compare to your impression of them now? And before we start giving our answers, I will say that the order we will answer this in basically is we'll start with by like the subject of the okay basically we'll do basically Axe and I will give our answers about Karis, and then Karis and I will give our answers about Axe, and then Karis and Axe will give their answers about me. So Karis
Okay.
is the first one being spoken about, and then Axe will talk first.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think my first impression of Karis was back when I was first considering becoming a philosopher VTuber, maybe about a year or so ago. I was thinking, okay, like, has anyone else, done this? Are there any other philosopher VTubers? And so I think I just typed into YouTube, like, philosopher VTuber, really not sure, like, what I would find. And then I thought, hey, there's some guy named Karis Euphranor. And I saw your debut stream and some of your other streams. I was like, hey, like, he's a philosopher VTuber. Like, this is kind of cool. And as I got to see more of the streams, I noticed that there was a lot of really funny, sarcastic humor and like banter with your chat. And that was kind of my first main impression of you. And then I think over time, I started to see more about how deep the lore goes, or deep the community sort of bonding goes, like into your Discord and everything. That was something I did not really pick up on at first. And so that was really cool. And I remember, I sent you an email just kind of reaching out saying like, hey, I think I'm going to be a philosopher VTuber too. And you were very nice in your response and, very welcoming. And so that's also something that I will always remember and appreciate.
Thank you.
Wait, so do you mean to say that you were stalking Karis like for months before you actually reached out to him?
Not quite that long, and I don't have a precise idea of the time frame, but I definitely did like watch some of his streams before, writing an email to him.
Wait. I think Chad is pointing out that you didn't go into how your first impression compares to your current impression of him.
Oh, well, I think my current impression of him is that he is someone who has done a lot to cultivate a really strong community. And that was something I did not really pick up on at first, because I didn't really know too much about like the Discord and all of the inside jokes and everything and all of the banter and chat. I had picked up some of it, but I think not the full extent. And that's something that, not just any VTuber can do. I think that it takes a special talent at, cultivating that sort of community. So that's, I think, one of the main ways in which my impression of Karis has been updated over time.
That's a very nice thing to say. I will take this point just to sort of declare for everyone, especially those who don't know us. I think like Karis Euphranor like legitimately might have like, I think his community is in the, or I think he's in the running for like indie VTuber with like the best community. Honestly, if you've never heard of him or us, like you have no idea. I think it really is special. And I don't know if I can or should elaborate on that, but yeah, maybe I should.
I don't know if they deserve that much credit, but but thank you. There's some merit in there, of course.
All right.
And can I also say one more thing about Karis,
sure.
to try to satisfy the commenters in chat who want more about my impression of him now? There was your recent stream, Karis, about the things that you want to do before kicking the bucket, as Karis Euphranor, the things that you
That's true.
hope to sort of accomplish before graduating. And I thought that was really cool too, because lots of the goals seemed very nicely ambitious and just, I think to illustrate someone who is not, content to just sort of rest on what they've done, but who's always pushing forward. And so that was something that I was really struck by in a good way.
Thank you. I didn't have long responses in mind for you guys, so I'm gonna have to start writing in my head now. Oh.
All right. My first impression of Kara Sufrenor. So I'm not going to hold back here. I think I discovered Karas a lot later than I guess his core fan base will say. I pretty much discovered him through Axion, through the first collab that they did way back in August 2025, and I think like I remember clicking on his YouTube channel and looking at his like name, his banner, his homepage, like the thumbnails I saw there, and just feeling kind of like confused and overwhelmed or underwhelmed. Sorry, I was kind of like basically like who is this like silver haired like pencil neck and like it like really and then if you want to extend like first impression, that was like the first impression, and then if you want to extend it to like my first like impression after like sort of hearing him talk like during the collab and actually you know and that like I guess my impression became more, oh, like this guy's actually like pretty funny and you know charismatic, so I think I'll give him a sub and actually, you know, watch his content going forward. And then comparing that to my current impression of him, where should I start with this? I think that, I guess one of the main things about Care is that, I feel like you wouldn't really be able to tell from him at first glance, is really how based he is and how much of a kind and moral person he is. I think there were multiple, for my part, I think there were, you know, multiple signs, small signs that was the case that I began to observe, but I feel like the turning point that really sticks in my mind in terms of like that made me go from thinking of him as just like, you know, haha funny man to like actually like, you know, he's a, you know, a very principled person, is watching his the VOD of his male loneliness stream that he did last year, and seeing the way that he approached the issue and the way that he, you know, dealt with the, you know, the comments that he got, and all of that, I think really built up my respect for him, and I think that sort of thing has only become clearer and clearer over time as we've begun, you know, speaking together more often, and as I've watched more and more of his streams. Say what else you will about him. He is, you know, somehow a person who is in his own way dedicated to I guess like making a difference in this world, and that's one of the qualities that I admire most, and so I'm happy to call him an ally of justice, and I think that, and basically, yeah, I don't think that's necessarily something you would tell about him at first glance just by looking at him, but that's what I honestly think.
Gosh, I don't know. I can't. Thank you, man. It'd be easier if we went back to like the insulting. It'd be. No, but thank you. I didn't. Gosh, now I feel like I have the pressure. The pressure's on for me to like prepare to say something longer about you guys, because I was gonna be very like quick and concise with it, the impressions, but yeah, no,
that's okay too.
Shall we move on?
Wait, you have to wait. Now it's your turn to talk about your impression of Axe.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about Axe now.
Yeah.
Okay. My first impression of Axe was I'll tell you maybe what it felt like. I think my first encounter with you was through you reaching out to me, and I saw the email and I read it and I like kind of checked and I immediately did the due diligence of stalking everything I knew about you from that email. I was like, what's this guy's deal? What's he doing? Does he have a channel? Whoa, what? He's telling me his real name and everything? What's going on? What? You know, and I'm clicking through your Substack and I'm like reading stuff like, oh my god, this guy's like real. This guy's got, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know what I'm sitting here calling myself a philosopher and then like spouting out my various amounts of of expletives and not really taking myself too seriously, and then seeing Axe kind of come in with that professionalism made me it definitely put me it definitely made me sit upright and go, oh god, I have to like lock it now. I have to take myself seriously. I have to like get my act together. It's like it really does. And I think this is an enduring thing, though perhaps it's melted in a way that's natural of such a progression. But it really does, when you talk to Axe or when you like watch the streams, it to me, it feels like I'm like talking to or like listening to one of my older professors like lecture back in the academy, right? And I do, and remembering, and it brought me back, and I think that it parallels that journey too, where the day one oftentimes felt very like intimidating and felt like, oh god, this guy's, you know, this guy knows his stuff, and I'm sitting in his class like trying to absorb just as an iota of something from this person who's delivering a lecture on something, and then over the course of the semester kind of like getting to know the person rather than just the professor, and kind of like realizing, wow, and taking a genuine interest in the professor, and realizing, oh, this is not only just someone who's very intelligent, but is also extraordinarily kind, and who's very willing to see you where you are. And I guess that kind of sums up both my first impression and my current impression of Axe.
Well, that is very kind of you. Thank you, Garrus. That means a lot.
Did you get your act together? No, not yet. I will eventually. I will. Once I make that video. Once I make that darn like video. Never mind. Sorry. Anyways.
Okay. I think I can feel my heart beating in my ears. Well, my first impression of Axe was via his debut stream, and I remember feeling too shy at the time to even leave that many messages in chat, but I know I was thinking like he has like an ikemen voice, and his model is also very handsome, and he's like nice and smart, and it's just, you know, I don't know, like he's just sort of like the quintessential professor and philosopher, like almost like too good to be true, like you know, like kind of like Kara said, like very professional. And I know I did witness earlier in chat like Leon outing me by saying that I was very excited when Axe responded to my comment on his debut VOD. I'm trying to see if I can find the comment now, but I won't deny it. I'm pretty sure that after I got your response, I started like jumping up and down like a little kid, and I was like, guess what? He actually responded to my comment, like that. It was like Christmas had come early for me, and yeah. So my first impression of Axe was like very, very positive. I remember even thinking like, why is he single? because you know, like, judging from his debut VOD, I mean, he was like, you know, good looking, educated, you know, he had money, you know, he was smart and kind, and like, why is someone like that single according to sort of conventional wisdom? And then now regarding current impressions, I feel like now I know why he's single, and that's basically it's basically
Oh no, what's gonna come next? Because I'm secretly a neckbeard.
That's spectacular.
I mean, he's single. I think he's single because he's weird. Okay, and, like, it doesn't really come through in his like debut VOD, because like debuts are often like very I don't know, like polished. They're very curated. Like they're a very curated experience. Like they don't always offer a really accurate view into what the VTubers' future content will be like. And then I continued watching, you know, most of his content post debut, and like the more time that went on, the more I saw him like just sort of like brandishing that like strange, incomprehensible Axion brand like cursed sense of humor, which I kind of I hesitate to invoke this. I feel like maybe it really peaked on that Halloween stream that he did. I don't know. Was that the peak? I don't know. Or maybe it peaked before. Or
either that or My Immortal.
But I won't lie. More than once, I found myself thinking, this is my Oshi. And... and I just like that, and that's not the only thing that's changed. I mean, I feel like not to be too harsh, I would say that there's probably more overall that's been unchanged rather than changed. I would say that overall he still is a kind and intelligent, quintessential professor and philosopher type character, but I think how do I say this? I think that especially if you manage to get to know him behind the scenes, he has a lot more range as a person than you would assume if you were just watching his debut stream, or if you only watch his streams once in a while. He really does have multiple sides of him that, you know, I feel like are sort of under, like, I don't not like underrated, but like they're just not acknowledged as you know, that much. But I think like I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I think he has such a really interesting value system, and you know, one that is I don't know, I think that characterized by a kind of undying optimism. I think I don't know, like he like in, like, you know, I'm talking about things like you know, a belief in the goodness of humanity, and I mean, it's his philosophy, and also we don't have all the time in the world, so I don't know if I can really go into more detail into it and then that. But suffice to say, like, he's given me a lot of moments that make me think like, this is like an absolute like cinnamon roll of a man. Like, we must protect this man at all costs. Like he just like triggers like my protective instincts, and then, but at the same time, he has another side to him that's not nice. I don't know. No, I mean, by that I don't mean like unkind. I think I would say he's just as kind off stream as he is on on stream. It's not like he's a completely different person like that, but I think that off stream, he does at times give himself more liberty to speak in ways that he would not on stream, and that maybe this is subconscious, despite his saying that he doesn't play a character on stream. I think there was a clip that I considered showing and preparing for today, but I didn't have time to do so. But so maybe I'll show it on stream another time. Maybe next time I do a chatting stream. But it would give an example of what I'm talking about. A behind the scenes peek into a sneak peek into what sort of acts as like when the camera's not on him. But basically, I think he can be, like, believe it or not, he can also be really based and even badass in his own right. And I feel like that's a side of him that he could probably get away with showing on stream a little more. Although if he doesn't feel comfortable doing that, obviously I won't push him into it. But how long have I been extolling the virtues of my Oshi?
Enough to fill the quota. So,
well, thank you, Tia. That does mean a lot. It's very nice of you. And also, Doodling, I'm taking notes right now. And yeah, one of my notes is be more based and badass on future streams. So, yeah, thank you.
You guys are, like, the audience, you guys are missing out on the coolest, most badass hot takes ever from off-stream Axion. You'll never know. You'll never be privy to this. It's a VLOSOPHY exclusive thing. Sorry, you're not part of our cool secret club. You don't get to see it.
On stream, I'm only at 10% of my full power.
Wait, Axe, do you mind reading Hannah's comment there? I'm curious as to what you'd have to say.
I did. I saw it earlier, and I didn't want to say because you were talking, but I did think it was quite funny. Yeah, when he said, I think the first VOD I watched of Axion was Slay the Princess, and when one of the voices said something like "best 5 seconds of action of my life," and he said, "I get that a lot," I was like, oh. Wow. It's funny that you mentioned that, Hannah, because I had completely forgotten about that. And I still don't know if I remember the precise moment that it happened. I believe you that it did happen, but it just goes to show, like, little moments like that. It's funny. There are sometimes, when I just forget them and then somebody will remind me of them. And I'm like, oh, I guess I did say that, Like, what other things did I say during, during that stream?
It really does just kind of come from the heart, doesn't it? You don't even think about it. You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
So what was that like? Just so what, when you said that, was that like just a joke, or were you really talking from personal experience?
No comment.
I feel like that's a great topic for another stream. So speaking of badasses, let's get into our Tia Faire impressions.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
My first impression of Tia was very much one of curiosity, because and I don't mean this I mean this in a good way, and I think you know this, of course, Tia, but Axe set a very high bar for what I could expect from, like, philosopher VTubers to come after me. So I was like, oh, there's gonna be another one. I gotta check this out. And so far, I think my first impression of you, Tia, was one that was just one that was curious, one that was like, I don't know exactly what to expect, but I like that there is that ambition. I like that there's a passion, there's a fiery red passion in this, really, that I wanted to see more of. And I think maybe now, given that it's been, I think, a few months since your debut, so it's not been too long since, but given that I've seen a bit more of you and heard a bit more of you and talked to you, I think, outside of stream as well, to really kind of get to know your thinking and you as a person, and also as a VTuber and someone who wants to make things online. And I don't want to say, I don't want to give it all away to the audience, of course. But what I will say is there is a passion and dedication and a deceptive amount of thinking that's going on. And I say deceptive not to say that you present yourself as someone who doesn't do that thinking, but what I mean is I actually feel like you gave me an impression that undersold how cool I think you actually are. That's all I'll have to say on the matter for now.
Very interesting. I'll keep that in mind.
Mine is, I suppose, somewhat parallel to Karis's in that over time I've come to see you sort of embody that passion for things like justice and for philosophy in a way that I did not, perceive upon, first meeting you or first reading your comments. I think my first impression of you came during my debut stream, because I know that you left some comments in the chat during that stream. And like that already right there was a positive first impression, in part because I was just like delighted that like anyone was there watching it. Like, hey, comments in chat. Like, hey, like I'm a VTuber now. This is cool. Like I'm doing a stream and people are leaving comments, and your comments were very nice and like supportive. And I think, afterward you left a comment on the VOD, which was also like extremely nice and, showed a lot of interest, a lot of thoughtfulness. And at that time, I still didn't really know a whole lot about you. I think my impression was just like, oh, like this is someone who like, really enjoyed my stream and, seems like a thoughtful person and is like, already kind of a fan. So like, that's really cool. And I knew, of course, in an abstract way that there was more to you than that, but I couldn't really fill it out in my head yet, just because I didn't know you that well. And then over time you reached out in a few different ways, like on Discord, I think was the main way, and you asked if we wanted to be friends, and I was like, yeah, sure, like I'm always up for for having friends, and you seem like a very nice person. And then at some point along the way, I learned that you were interested in becoming a VTuber yourself, a philosopher VTuber yourself. And I think from seeing your streams and from conversations and things like that, I've come to get a much better sense now of just how passionate, how committed you are to the cause of philosophy, to helping people think, to putting out philosophical content that really challenges people and tries to make the world a better place. And I think that that's absolutely wonderful. It's one of your best qualities, and I think that that really does come through on your streams. And so I look forward to seeing what kinds of things you do in the future as the third philosopher VTuber.
All that is very nice of you to say, but I feel like it does leave me wondering, like, do I have any sort of redeeming qualities other than passion? Because I feel like that is just what has overwhelmingly come up in sort of, at the expense of almost anything else. I feel like there was a part of me hoping to maybe like learn more about myself.
Bravery. I'll give you another adjective.
Okay, I'll take it.
I don't want to give away too much to the audience, because I think what would be more rewarding is you actually watching this person and making those observations yourself, rather than having the enlightened philosophers in the room giving you your opinion.
All right, fair enough.
I will say on a brief note
Not
about
you,
that one
Tia,
thing.
I was talking to the audience there just now, but
One thing that really did make an impression on me was learning that you were an artist and that you made your own model, like the drawing and rigging. I thought that was super cool, and that like you make your own art assets, more broadly, at least like many or most of them for your streams, like your recent mascot stream. And I think that, just as Karis was saying, I think that does take a lot of courage and also a lot of talent. It's not something that, many or most VTubers can do, making their own art in that way. And I think that gives you a lot of control over the sort of creative direction, the art direction of your streams. So that's just a further cool feature.
Thanks, Axe. So that's true. I did draw and rig my own model. And speaking of art, I mean, so when it comes to philosophy, I'm kind of basically at this point like the in-house artist for philosophy. Like all the philosophy related sort of like graphics and assets you've seen so far, I was single-handedly responsible for those. So even the banners you see here in the background, the various graphics that have made it to Reddit, there's the starting screen you saw earlier today. All of that was me. and this might be a good time to tell this story. So, I wanted to provide some additional context as to what happened last week.
What happened last week?
Yeah. What?
Well, I mean, that was when we
What?
were supposed to be announcing the existence of VLOSOPHY itself.
Oh well, that's we've already done it. We don't have to get into it. It's already happened.
No.
It's
They
fine, we don't have to worry about
they deserve an explanation, and I deserve to speak my truth.
it. Uh-oh.
The incident.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I mean, okay. You guys need to know what actually happened behind the scenes, because I didn't actually get the chance to explain it last week. I did the reveal, and then I pretty much ended the stream right away. There's a story you haven't heard. So basically, that week, I had a lot of stuff going on, including making VLOSOPHY related stuff, and so I didn't have time. I forgot to ask Karis and Axe to send me certain screenshots of their models that I needed. Because it just had not crossed my mind until the last minute. So on Saturday, like the day of the announcement, I was sort of like waiting on pins and needles for both of them to come online and give me the things that I needed, and also to ideally be present, to be present for my announcement stream, because that is something that I had asked, I told them about, and I recall them both sort of assenting to being there. They both gave some an affirmative response that yes, I will be there watching this stream. And that was my understanding. I can see Karis looking at his camera with much confusion
I don't know what you're
on
talking
his
about. I don't
face.
know. Well, I mean, yeah. Well,
And then it I swear it was my stream was supposed to start at 3 o'clock my time, right? I swear it was 2:55, and nobody was there, and Karis was doing God knows what. Axe, who is usually early to things, being the professional that he is, was also missing in action, and I was what is happening? Where is everyone? Why is this happening to me? And then I swear, I think I told Karis hey, we should delay both our streams that day by half an hour because Axe probably slept in. So now we're trying to buy time for Axe to wake up so that he can give me the stuff and then also watch the stream, because Axe, I know I tease Axe a lot for his gremlin sleep schedule, but he took it a little far that day. And then I think finally a minute after I had that thought, he came online and it was I just woke up a few minutes ago, let me get ready. And I was okay, I was right about why he wasn't there. And then the stream starts an hour, half an hour later than it was supposed to, but it starts, and I was relieved. I was phew, okay, we kind of hit a bump in the road, but we're on track now. Now that Axe is here, and I think Karis is I think he might be here. He's somewhere. I think everything's gonna go fine. And then when I think when I was still still streaming, but before I did the reveal, I saw the notification icon pop up on Discord, and I don't usually check Discord while streaming, but that time I think I was already thinking of messaging Karis to sort of coordinate with him and be hey, sort of are you ready for the so are you watching the stream? So I kind of got this it's kind of really bad gut feeling, I think I should check this. And I checked it, and he posted the announcement too early. And it's so, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know what to do. I like couldn't believe it.
In my defense, I think that's oftentimes how truth is revealed to the philosopher and to the mind, isn't it? It's not quite a welcome sight that one expects. It's an immediate, abrupt sort of like, oh, okay, so that's what this is. And I think that's just sort of really just playing on the thematics of that, and very appropriate.
And I was thinking to myself, like, why were you not there, like, watching this stream? Like, you said you would do that, so why were you not there?
I mean, that dinner's not going to eat itself, you know.
What were you cooking anyway? Boy failure soup?
I have a right to remain silent, I think.
And then I was like, and then after it was over, I told Leon about it. I was like, guess what Karis did? And then Leon pointed out, like, yeah, like, why didn't he? Okay, even if he wasn't watching the whole stream just before posting the announcement, why didn't he check your stream to see if you had announced it yet? And I'm like, yeah, this is common sense. Why didn't you do that?
So, you know, well, I just, Week 1 philosophy degree, week 2 ice soup. True.
so basically,
that was the meal, yeah.
So I mean, in all seriousness, I was mad. I was mad at the time. I'm not mad anymore. I think like most everything since then has gone as well and gone smoothly, and you know, like at the end of the day, we did get our announcement out, and that's what really mattered. I feel like if you really look at the big picture, I feel like all three of us were partly culpable for that sort of snafu. Me for, you know, putting too much on my plate and then forgetting to you know, like tell them about the thing to tell them about the thing like in advance, and then like ask for like sleeping in, and then finally Karis for like not following instructions properly.
I do think that it goes to show that no matter how awful and how terrible things may seem to be, they all kind of work out in the end, and that's why we're here in this stream right now, and happy and positive and delighted to do philosophy in this VLOSOPHY debut.
Kara's coming in clutch with the optimism.
You know, well, you know what's even better than that? Like learning from our mistakes.
Indeed, yes, of course, absolutely, yes.
I didn't know this was going to be like Kara's is held to account by Justice Stream Part 2, but I think the viewers are here for it, though. You know,
there's gonna be a part million of that if he doesn't change his ways.
Well, anyways, we had some interesting questions thrown our way throughout the promotional campaign that was launched by that incident. Isn't that right? And we had a few really like big questions that some of them we wanted to dedicate some time on this stream to answer. Some of them perhaps at a later date, but we're gonna keep it in our heads. I was wondering if you'd like to start us off, Tia, with some of the questions that we've received throughout.
Sure. There was one question in particular that we got on Reddit that was I feel like both so detailed, I guess, for lack of a better word, as well as so topical that it would be a real shame not to you know, include it as part of our presentation today. The commenter in question did provide some context, some sort of relevant context behind the questions. So I'm going to take a moment to read that out, I guess. Well, actually, I've been talking a lot since I'm sort of emceeing today. Does someone else want to read the context for me? I think we all have it in front of us right now, probably.
Sure, I can go for it. So this is a really, really interesting comment. I believe it was under the I don't remember which post it was. Was it the post we did on our brief thoughts on male loneliness? Actually, it might have been that one.
No,
it
it was our announcement post, our very first one.
It was the announcement one.
Yes.
Okay, right. Yes, this is a super, super good question. I've been wrestling with this in my head as well, wondering how I could best provide like a good response to this that would warrant you tuning in and listening to this. But here's the context, right? And here's the comment largely as it is. Ray Kurzweil, in his book The Age of Spiritual Machines, tried to predict the technological developments of the 21st century. While he accurately foresaw the existence of certain technologies, he greatly overestimated their adoption. For example, he predicted that by 2019, holograms would be commonplace, and most digital interactions would happen through a virtual avatar, such as the ones in front of you right now. We can see today that holograms are hardly what could be called commonplace. And while virtual avatars have seen a massive surge in the form of VTubers, they remain relatively niche. Questions and the comments here is divided into
the
two
context
questions.
ends there, and then next we have a couple of questions that sort of rely on that context. I don't know if I for one don't feel as well equipped to answer the first one as much as the second one. How are we feeling about them? Should we address both or one?
I want to read the questions out because I think the questions are themselves really, really interesting, even if it leaves us tongue-tied, and especially actually if it leaves us tongue-tied.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so question part one of this really long question, right? Do you think Kurzweil missed the mark because he underestimated 21st century capitalism, especially since neoliberalism is only in favor of progress when it is of the interest of capital? Or was there simply not enough popular interest in such technologies, perhaps partly due to a kind of neo-Luddite pushback? Now, I personally don't think it is. I'm a little bit more skeptical of the neo-Luddite angle. I think it's relatively speaking more likely. And again, I'm being very like cautious and vague and nebulous and maybeing a lot of my answer because I haven't read the book that this question is really predicated on. But I don't think I would call it missing the mark per se. I would say that obviously he predicted that it would be commonplace, and it's still right now fairly niche, the whole like digital avatar thing. But I think the whole notion of expressing oneself via this idealized version of ourselves, which is really what I think the hologram thing gets at on a deeper level, is present and just exists in a different form. Like, so we don't all walk around. Well, walk around is maybe not a great way to put it, but we don't all go around on the internet with anime avatars. There aren't that many people that do this, so it is relatively niche. But all of us kind of engage in social media to some extent, and as you may definitely know from social media, that it is oftentimes a very curated part of your existence, whether it be what you think is the most glamorous part, or really just anything that is not quite strictly glamorous being something that would be engaging, one would think. As the primary goal of sort of like a presentation of oneself on the internet, if one's goal is to be noticed, right? We're curating an image, we're curating a character, a branding, a something of that sort that might be our physical selves, but they're curated angles. It's not the ugly photos that are bad angles, it's the best ones, or it's the ones that highlight what we want people to see the most. That's all, I think, a deeper, bigger encompassing of maybe not virtuality per se, but like that the traits of holograms, less the technology of, you know, like a Star Wars gadget that pops something into place, and more like what we need, which is just instant information transmission and the expression of identity through that. So that, I guess, would be my really long-winded response to that question. I was wondering if you guys had anything else to add to that.
I think I muted myself for a reason, and then realized I was muted. In terms of the first question, yeah, I must say it's hard to formulate an answer without having read the book, because I feel like in order to answer, I would need to know why exactly the author assumed there would be this widespread adoption of holograms by or virtual avatars by 2019. Like it's sort of unclear to me as to why that was something he believed in the first place. And I don't know. I feel like besides that, I feel like I'm not enough of an expert on economics to really speak with confidence to that.
Yeah, I would say kind of like both of you. I'm not too familiar with Kurzweil's work, but I will say I haven't seen much evidence of a neo-Luddite pushback. So in that, I would agree, like against holograms or virtual avatars, beyond just like some occasional internet randos calling VTubers cringe. I think that's pretty much the extent of the pushback that I've seen on that in particular. But yeah, when it comes to why was Kurzweil's prediction off? Like to the extent that it was off, does it have to do with neoliberalism and capital and so on and things like that? And it might. Again, I don't really have much confidence to say either way, but I will just say that it seems to me, even if there is popular interest, or even if there has been great popular interest in these technologies, it just might be a matter of predicting long-term future technological change is very hard. The tech might not always catch up as fast as anticipated, despite popular interest in it. Just the process of making the discoveries and adapting them to a commercial format, I think, is plausibly a long and fraught process by its very nature. And so I think that's at least one thing that Kurzweil might say for why the timing was slightly off.
I want to get into the second question now because it's super
so
lengthy and something to wrap our heads around. Question 2, a part of this, Kurzweil did predict a blurring between our physical and digital selves and the use of virtual proxies. While his vision of general purpose avatars wasn't quite right, VTubing has carved out a significant space. What do you think led to the success of VTubers while other more utilitarian applications were largely forgotten?
Do you mind if I take a stab?
Did you want to go for this?
Yeah, do you mind if I take a stab at answering first? Because I feel like I've largely been answering last.
Yes.
So, what do you think led to the success of VTubers while other, more utilitarian applications were largely forgotten? I think, interestingly enough, I think that this question, or at least my answer to it, does sort of tie into the first question, where I think VTubers are successful. I think when trying to answer the question of why VTubers are successful, I think it's relevant to sort of acknowledge that VTubing makes money. It is commercially successful, but I think that only sort of speaks in a descriptive way as to why VTubing is successful, not a prescriptive way. So it's not like VTubing is successful because it makes money. I think that it makes money because of I guess it's sort of I'm not sure what words to use here. Sort of like the I think it has I think it's a social phenomenon with sort of and a sort of like a creative and artistic force. I think that's it has that sort of power and that sort of appeal, and that's the driving force behind its proliferation. Because I think, in our society, I think that there were some of us, or, parts of society who forget that, art of different kinds, despite not being immediately practical, it's to an extent, it's what we live for, and as such can be sort of a driving force in our society. And I don't know. I think that's my best answer as to why VTubing has overall been such a runaway success. And even though whatever other more utilitarian applications of digital avatars and such have not caught on quite as much.
Yeah, I think that I would agree with that. And also with what Leon said in the chat when he says, we want to talk to anime people. I think that's a very nice, concise way of putting it. Because, yeah, and by the way, this observation about Tia Faire is certainly not original to me. Yeah, like Leon just touched on it, and I know others have had a similar thought. And I think it also bears in some ways on what you were saying, Tia. But yeah, VTubing, I think what it really does is that it combines the fantasy of anime with the realness, the authenticity, the immediacy of a streamer whom one can interact with. And that is just a magical combination. I think also a big part of it is that it exploded in popularity during the pandemic in particular, when everyone pretty much was inside, and the real world was in many ways a place that people might not have been feeling very positively about, and having VTubers there as a way to sort of immerse oneself in this kind of fantasy, but nevertheless like a fantasy that maybe feels more real, more interactive than simply watching an anime, let's say, was something that I think really resonated with a lot of people.
To add to that, I also think that there's an interesting contradiction, perhaps a contradiction, perhaps it isn't, within VTubing in regards to authenticity, because unlike, I would say, usual non-VTubing strands of content creation where the flesh of the person, the actual appearance of them is on display, and there is almost like a deception at play where they're trying to pretend to be your friend and trying to pretend to be like a person that someone who's approachable and friendly and whatever, even though they are, strictly speaking, a stranger online. Whereas a VTuber is honest in that they're telling you right off the bat, like, look, I'm an anime character, and that this isn't real. So, so just in case you weren't aware, this is all kind of fake. And I think there is a level of authenticity to proudly announcing that something is somewhat going to be not quite. It might approximate, but it wouldn't be a substitute for someone in real life, for example, talking to you. That VTubing has, that lends it an air of authenticity that other forms of content creation might not actually be privy to.
You made me think of something, and I feel like it might have to do more with philosophy of VTubing than this question, even though that was like a topic we ditched a while ago, or maybe it has to do with both. But it's because of your mentioning the word authenticity, and I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I can be more I feel like I can be more authentic, more myself when as a VTuber than in my personal life. And while that may not be sort of like a universal experience or opinion, I know that all the same, I'm not the first or only VTuber who has expressed a similar sentiment, and I feel like there is something significant going on there, because I guess it's interesting how we in the VTubing community often laud VTubing as sort of like a vector for authenticity, but I think a lot of Axe mentioned cringe earlier. I think a lot of outsiders perception of VTubing is like, well, kind of like this is cringe and weird and fake anyway. Like, why are you being fake? Why are you pretending to be a character and not your real self? But then the reality that many VTubers feel more themselves when expressing themselves as their VTuber self sort of runs counter to that assumption or stereotype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I can add much to that, but I think that's an interesting observation. For me, it doesn't feel entirely clear. Like, I think feel about the same, I suppose, when I stream, you know, in terms of like how comfortable I feel revealing things about myself. But I think it's so cool that other people have this experience of like feeling freer, you know, as presenting as their model, as their VTuber.
All right. Shall we move on to a different question?
Yes,
I think that
but
sounds like a
also
good idea.
I want to add that I think, unrelated to the question itself, but I wanted to say that we may have like left the general discussion of the philosophy of VTubing a while ago. I feel like it's just going to come up over and over again as part of the whole thing. So I think if we dip into another 5-hour tangent of it, it's meant to be.
All right. Okay. There are two questions here that are sort of related. Where I mean, yeah. Hannah asked, unrelated, if Karis disappeared forever, what kind of fun activities would Tia and Axe come up with? And then right below, Ari asked, who is more likely to graduate first? And I feel like these two questions are like almost asking the same thing. So, I guess first of all, when it comes to who is more likely to graduate first, I would say Karis, because he literally did his stream talking about like what he wants to do before he graduates.
I might. I mean, I will. I might soon. I might later. We never know. I think it's an interesting parallel to our own lives and the mortality that we all kind of experience. But I don't think people like to think about death a lot, and I want to just make them feel that a little bit more. It feels like ringing a death knell just for fun. It's not just for fun. There's like educational value in this, okay? I'm asking you to evaluate your life and your choices. I'm asking you to look inwards and ask yourself, is this really what I'm doing? Is this what I want to set myself up for? And if that's a yes, that's affirming, you know? That's like a yes, I could die in a week and I'm happy with what I'm doing right now because I think this is worth it. This is like what life should be. And like, if it isn't where you are at, it's where you are going. That's the whole thing, is like recognizing that like you don't have a lot of time left. You might die tomorrow. You probably won't die tomorrow. It is unlikely, but maybe you get hit by a car, or maybe like the sky parts and you think, well, that's perfect, and then all of a sudden a thundercloud forms and then you realize the might of Zeus has smited you because you said something bad in my stream at one point. You know, that might happen. I don't know. I don't want to promise or guarantee anything, but you know, like your mortality is not promised to you, or your mortality is promised to you. Your death is, and your extension upon this like upon this living earth is not, okay? And people need to think that, because when they stop thinking about that, when they stop thinking that they'll die, they keep thinking, I'll just, you know, be here forever, and they close their eyes and their ears and they put on the next podcast or the next TV show. They forget that like we die, like we will have to actually face termination, and that's like there is so much we should be doing that we haven't gotten around to doing yet, because we've just been so preoccupied with our flights of fancy and our entertainments, and our lives have just been nothing more than subscriptions. I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
I'm gonna remind you that the question was who is more likely to graduate first, not why do you talking.
I don't know. It could be any one of us. It might be me though. Excuse me.
I mean, I don't see myself as particularly likely to graduate, and I feel like you might be that kind of VTuber as well, Axe. Between you and me, Axe, do you think one of us is particularly more likely to graduate than the other? Because I can see myself streaming, I don't know, or being Tia Faire, at least in some capacity, pretty much my whole life, as long as it takes until justice is done.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say that's a wonderful thought, the world achieving perfect justice, and then at the end you're able to say to yourself, justice is done.
No, but basically,
Anyway,
like that's my dream. I want to be able to like, it would be really nice if sort of on my dying day, I could think back to my whole life and know that it was because of my choices and my intervention that people get to live better lives than they would have without me. And I think that would let me go in peace without regrets. Not to say that that's going to happen, but it sure would be nice.
No doubt about that. But to answer your question, yeah, my thought on this one, like who's more likely to graduate first or who's most likely to graduate first, seems to me equally likely. I know Karis did put out that list of things that he wants to do, but
no, you have to say equally unlikely, because the thought, even just the thought of your graduating acts like just rips my heart in two.
Okay, equally unlikely then. Because even though, yeah, Karis did put out that list of things, a lot of them felt, to me at least, like ambitious goals, and I don't know if it'll be, feasible to accomplish them in a short time frame. They felt to me like, some of them pretty long-term things, which is great and wonderful. But yeah, for me, I really enjoy VTubing a lot, and I don't, have any plans to graduate currently. It's always, of course, difficult to say what will happen in the future. One thing I can say, though, is that even if there does arrive a day when I am no longer a philosopher VTuber, I will always be a philosopher.
You gotta stream for at least, I don't know, 5 years to give me a lifetime's worth of Axion-related memories to look back on when I need them.
Okay, yeah, consider it done. I will definitely put out more Halloween
That's the
streams.
timer.
And
5 years. We start counting right now.
You guys are
TikTok.
not taking me seriously.
Yeah.
No,
I'm always hesitant to make promises around this kind of thing, but I let me just say I would not be surprised if I continue for at least that long.
Yay, fatty.
Ari also asks, who is more likely to be corrupted by the One
I was
Ring?
gonna follow up with that. So who is more likely to be corrupted by the One Ring? I'm gonna vote Karis for no particular reason.
This isn't a vote. Why are we voting? Hang on. This isn't a vote. What? Okay, in fairness, I think me a few years ago, definitely 100%, because I think before I started streaming, I had a vie for power, not in a I need to take over the world way, but in there should be more sway and influence in what I say, because people are stupid and they don't know what they're doing. And now I feel a bit more, now I feel like I wouldn't be so tempted by power, because once you start being responsible for more things, you realize you don't actually want to be.
Okay.
On that note, though,
And that's what power is.
oh, perhaps. That does make me think, though, because for this question, my answer was Karis too. Not necessarily because of anything about your actual character, but because Dark Karis would go so hard. Just something about the aesthetic that I'm imagining right now. I think you would do a great job playing a villain in an anime or a movie or something along those lines.
Someone
put it on.
Someone in the Karis community needs to draw Karis as Gollum now.
Oh yes.
I'm sure everyone's active imagination has already placed me there. I'm sure. Honestly, I probably would put the One Ring on for fun. I think I would be so curious. I think it really would be a Pandora's box situation. I feel as though if I were presented a box and I was told that there was unlimited power in that, whatever that meant, I would go, ooh, okay, let's see. And likewise with the ring, I'd probably put it on.
Okay, I have my eye on some super interesting comments right now that I want to read out, because they're sort of basically exactly what I was thinking. I mean, most people, this is from I Don't Believe in Magic. I mean, most people just ignore the responsibility that comes with power. If people oblige the responsibilities power begetted, then the world would be a better place. That was pretty much where my mind was. This is in reference to what Karis Senpai just said about power and responsibility. I don't think that those two. For my part, I think that the way it works is that ideally those two things should go hand in hand. I think that those who have more power should also have more responsibility, and to and also have the responsibility to sort of exercise that power in a a responsible way. But yeah, I mean, suffice to say, in real life, there are many examples of those who have great power, but do not act with such a sense of responsibility. Not that I don't know if that's particularly relevant to the overall theme of the stream.
Not much to add to that, but yes.
Based off nothing more than the 20 minutes I have been here, I also vote Karis because I am biased against anyone who is influenced by Kierkegaard.
Great news for you. Everyone is influenced by Kierkegaard, whether you know it or not. It really is just your journey in life is just realizing that you have been influenced by Kierkegaard all this time. You just didn't know.
One time I was like,
it's like the footnotes to Plato idea. Sorry, yeah, go on.
I feel like one time I was I think I was talking to Hannah and maybe a couple other people in VC in your server, and I was man, every time I VC with him, he all he talks about is Loki and Kierkegaard and Dr. Ratio. And Hannah had words to say about that.
That's not true.
If Kierkegaard's ghost is watching this stream right now, Karis, I am sure he is so happy to know that
occasionally, I complain about Hegel as well. That's what I do too.
Oh. All right. We should probably move on to more questions. This might be a big one and a tough one. I wanted us to address, I guess, what are sort of our opinions on social responsibility? Social responsibility being something that is sort of defined in contrast to personal responsibility, which is showing up at your job and paying your bills and feeding your family, and social responsibility referring broadly to things that more abstractly make the world and society a better place, even if it does not directly benefit you. I guess I thought it would be really great if all three of us could speak on our opinions on sort of what social responsibility encompasses and our own sort of feelings on our obligation, if there is any, to live up to such responsibilities.
Mm-hmm. You want to go first, Ax, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I suppose I could go first on that one. My thought is that people's well-being matters, even if it's, of course, not ourselves, or if it's not people that we know. People still matter, simply in virtue of being people, or in virtue of having interests, having well-being. And to the extent that we can influence others' well-being for the good without sacrificing anything of comparable importance, I believe that we should. So that was very abstract as a way of putting it, but yeah, I do think that each of us, to the extent that we're able to make a positive difference in the world more generally, I think that is something that we in fact ought to do, provided that we can do so in a way that doesn't conflict with any of our more immediate obligations, you might say, to those who are close to us.
Mm-hmm.
Karis, would you like to go next?
I think I think one of the biggest responsibilities, and I hope it doesn't sound like a cop-out, because I think it's sort of like the first component of the answer I would give to this question, is that one has to pick the battle first, like that, and that I see as the biggest responsibility is to look around you and look at what's going on and assess what the problems are. And there are a lot of them, and you're never going to get to all the problems, but like just look around you immediately and see which problems you can address and should address first, or are things that are within your power to address. And if not, what can you do to help nonetheless in that regard? Say that you are not maybe say that, you realize that there is a shortage of doctors, but you yourself are definitely not a STEM major, you are definitely not someone who could go into med school. Nonetheless, you could find ways to contribute to that issue other than just being a doctor, right? Such as perhaps being someone who educates about biology. That might be your thing. You could be someone who simply donates to hospitals that are underfunded. You could be someone that works or tries to get into policy at a local level to try to influence and encourage more attention being paid to healthcare. There are many ways to tackle issues. I think the most important thing is just identifying what those problems are. And again, you're never going to get to all of them. I think right now we have, in terms of responsibility, right? I feel like, strangely, because of the free flow access to information that we all have contemporarily, we're almost paralyzed by how many problems exist in the world, and there are a lot of them. Oh my god, have you read the news? There are a lot of problems, and I feel like a lot of people are being paralyzed by the sheer just amount of stuff and feel like they need to contribute to everything. You do not need to contribute to everything, because you cannot contribute to everything. And what matters, and what I think is really the almost prerequisite to assuming responsibility, is knowing what you should be responsible for, determining what you should be responsible for, figuring out what it is that you can do to help, rather than looking and just going like, oh my god, like this is all terrible, and I should do this, and I should do that, and I should tell people I believe this, and I should think this, and I should support this cause. And it's like, it's good to do all those things, but you need to also make sure that you're well, for lack of a better word, doing something, rather than just saying that you're going to do something, or saying something. And I think there's a key difference there that we do not have enough time to get into, I think, in this stream, that I would love to expunge upon if I could. But a big and a neglected responsibility, I would say, is the lack of focus on what one's responsibility should be.
There's a lot I like about that answer. I like sort of the point about the need to properly identify a problem as a prerequisite to actually beginning to solve it. And I like something I'm very inclined to agree with is the notion that something that I strongly believe when it comes to social responsibility is that I think the reason that people in general, like the average person, that people in general are not sort of engaging in social responsibility more than they do, or as often or as much as they could, is less that people don't care about things, which is one thing you might assume when sort of looking at the situation. I would agree with Karis that it's because I think most people care. It's just that they're paralyzed, like they don't know what to do, and the resulting paralysis may look similar to apathy. But I very much agree with the point that it's important for us to just try to narrow down what we can do and do that thing. No matter how small that thing is, it's better than nothing. That's your social responsibility. Whatever you can do, no matter how small it is, because it's better than nothing. And I think, speaking generally, I think people have trouble identifying what that thing is, like that thing that they can do, and doing it. I think that maybe that's maybe something the three of us are more practiced at doing as philosophers. But I think that a lot of people struggle with that, and so they end up not doing much in particular, or their energy is channeled into avenues that are not very productive, in that they may be acknowledging the problem, but maybe they're going about it by like attacking like groups of people that they think are responsible for the problem when they're really not, and such. And I think that I think now I want us to transition to a bit. I think it could be great if the three of us could briefly touch on this concept called counter speech that came up during the last collab between Axe and I. Now, if I understand correctly, you still haven't watched that VOD, Karis, which is...
You can fill me in very quickly.
Not the end of... I mean, you mean... Yeah, it was a term that Axe brought up, and you can probably sort of glean what the meaning of it is based on the words that it's composed of, counter and speech, and knowing that the context of the conversation was hate speech and free speech, but
got it. I'm kind of
like yeah. So I think when it comes to social responsibility, I mean, I think there was also something you said that was interesting back there, Karis, about you didn't invoke this phrase, but you basically you brought up the phenomenon of like virtue signaling, right? And I think it's sort of an interesting question of like what is virtue signaling versus what is actually fulfilling one's social responsibility, because I think that it is possible to conflate those things, and that people often do. I think that certainly virtue signaling is something that occurs. As an example that just happened to come to my mind, it's like okay, if I have my internet timeline right, it was like, I think it was like during the lockdown, Lindsay Ellis got like harassed and like canceled by a lot of people claiming to be like Asian allies, basically like allies of like Asian people, and yet speaking from the experience as an Asian person, like I don't think my my life has improved in any way since then. So clearly these people who were canceling an internet figure supposedly in service of this cause have not actually done anything to advance it. So yeah, there is a good deal of that going on out there, and it's quite sad. But on the other hand, I think that certain forms of speech can and do count as social responsibility. And then I think, I think that, I think that there is sort of another tendency for some people to be so jaded that they dismiss all kinds of speech about important issues as virtue signaling, just because they're not as as direct a solution as action. And I think that this is also a misguided view, because our world, just like I was saying in the other collab, we live in an information like a knowledge economy or whatever they call it, and that does mean for my part, I think that means that words do. Speech has a lot of power, and that power can, once again, be wielded like negatively, dangerously, or be wielded for the greater good. And so I think that, for anyone out there who is, wondering, how could someone like me, possibly make the world a better place? And this was even a question that I sort of raised in the intro post I made on Reddit so many moons ago. I think that if nothing else, even if you don't really particularly have a lot of money or things like that, I think that you can speak and spread awareness about I think ideas that you have that are good ideas, to try to combat and push out the bad ideas out there. I think that's something that most of us can do, even if we don't really have any particularly fancy tools or opportunities. So hopefully I didn't get on too much of a soapbox there, but I feel like it's probably safe to say that, like, even if this is a subject we are all passionate about, I might be like the most passionate about it here. So anything you'd like to add?
There are a few things I could add. Karis, do you want to go first?
Not for now. You can go.
Okay. So thanks for that, Tia. I think that my first thought is on the first thing you said, which is, what is virtue signaling? I think was the question. But I would say that the key to virtue signaling is that whatever pro-social actions or statements one is making have as their primary, if not sole motivation, to look good to others. You want other people to perceive you as a virtuous person. And I think that this correlates to certain kinds of behaviors when it comes to speech in particular. For virtue signaling speech, I would say that it typically, maybe almost always, takes the form of simply, denouncing someone else, or simply like voicing support for someone else, but not really giving arguments, but more of just saying like, hey, like boo these people, like don't these people suck, or like, hey, like this person's great, or this team, like go team basically, but for political sides for the most part. On the other hand, I think there's a very important contrast between that and actually getting in the trenches and making arguments, showing why the bad ideas are in fact bad ideas. And this is something that not everyone will agree with me on. It's a subject that people can have reasonable differences of opinion. But in my view, the best way to combat bad ideas is precisely that, to really get in the trenches and to actually critique them, to show why they're wrong, and also to put out better ideas. So that's how I would see the counter speech there playing out.
I think that was an excellent answer. That sort of like you jumped off of what I was saying. Wait, I was gonna add something quick to that. Let me. I had something to add and I forgot. So maybe I'll just let Karis go. If you had something to say.
There is a great speech on this by Rowan Atkinson, aka Mr. Bean, on YouTube. It's funny to see Mr. Bean defend like the right to speech, and sort of like his presentation of what he didn't use the words, but I would say that what he was presenting was very much his idea of counter speech. That the answer to hate speech isn't to remove speech, it's more speech, is essentially the thesis of his statement. And he's very articulate, and he's very wonderful in expressing his points. And it's just so interesting to just hear all of that from Mr. Bean. So if anyone is interested, that like Rowan Atkinson free speech, if you just type that on YouTube, you'll probably find it. But he presents a really compelling case for counter speech that I think is like from like an argumentative standpoint. For me, it's less like the intellectual part of counter speech that I'm concerned with, because I just feel like this is the very obvious answer. To the point where I'm like, of course we employ counter speech rather than censorship. Like this is the best way forward, and I just don't really have any doubt of that. Of course, anything can be argued, but this is one of those things that I don't want to spend too much time arguing for, whether like counter speech is effective or not. What I am more interested in really is in how to employ counter speech, and what it takes to employ counter speech. I think one of the big things that it would require from someone is that you have to brave the abrasive fronts of people who might attack you ad hominem, for example, and just kind of go after you as a person rather than try to address you as an interlocutor. in my conversations with Tia in particular, but just in general, I've referred to this as sand kicking, where rather than like, you know, in an arena where one would perhaps do combat honorably, one would resort to underhanded tactics such as like kicking sand in your opponent's eyes to, you know, blind them or whatever, which might help you win the fight, but it lacks that honor. And while I don't think that everything should be resolved in an arena, because that's I personally am probably less enthusiastic about debate and debate culture than my colleagues here, Tia and Axe. I do think, obviously there's some value, there is a good amount of value to it, of course. I do think the sand kicking that is so present, one needs to steel themselves against it. And it's unfair that you have to. It's unfair that you have to look at the person, it's unfair that you have to converse with people who are not interested in your perspective and just want to like say what they want to say and then like just leave it as is. It's unfair as a VTuber to have to open up a VOD and see like 10 comments from people that are not actually responding to what you said in your stream, but just the title, and they just wanted to leave their 2 cents as if it mattered at all whatsoever. But you know, you kind of have to suppress that rage. You have to suppress that like what the hell is this guy doing here? And like, if you genuinely want to try to make like change, if you genuinely want to approach this through the method of counter speech, you have to be braver, you have to be more patient, you have to be more willing to be the bigger person essentially all the time, and that takes like effort. So I think while that is important and while people should strive to do that, you shouldn't burn yourself out by doing it too much. There's a balance to it. There's a delicate balance to internet discourse. Usually my prescription to everyone is just stop. Don't do so much of it. Please like step away from it and just do something in your own life that would be conducive to your own growth and development as a person, is generally my prescription. But, you know, of course, your results may vary.
I think there was a quick note I wanted to say about virtue signaling before moving on. I think that there is overall this sort of like air of cynicism that hangs over our society, where cynicism is almost like the dominant and like fashionable mode of carrying oneself and of thinking about the world. And one of the consequences of this that we can see is I think that there is a tendency at one extreme to sort of dismiss any sort of moral, positioning on a subject as virtue signaling. And I think that even happened to us recently on one of our promotional post on our virtual YouTubers. It was the one on male loneliness. I think.
Hello, if you're from Reddit. Sorry.
I think one person sort of tacitly accused us of virtue signaling without using the word of virtue signaling. And
they're right though.
Yeah,
we kind of just do that all the time.
Yeah, and I did take.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I did take the time to try to respond to that person, and I think that the distinction that Axe laid out just a moment ago between what is virtue, I mean, basically that, virtue signaling is just when you basically, just say what team you're on without really trying to further the discussion in any sort of productive and meaningful way, which is, again, as an Asian person, I feel like I saw a lot of that during the lockdown. Like, people were saying, like, stop Asian hate, and it's like, sure, what does that mean, and like, what are you going to do beyond just putting that in your Twitter bio? But anyway, I feel like I guess what we could say here is that all three of us, both individually and as a group now as VLOSOPHY, we do have a genuine commitment to trying to do the best that we can to make a difference as educational VTubers, however small that is. and that this is not all just, you know, all just smoke. It's not all just for show. And speaking of the of male loneliness, I wanted to take a moment just to make a statement that we do plan on holding a discussion stream on that topic in the future, and not in the immediate future, but I think right now we're thinking sometime in March. So we do actually have plans to do that. This is not all, yeah. I just wanted to put that out there.
It might happen. It's coming to a philosophy channel near you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, just speaking on behalf of all of us, we do love our virtue signaling. It's great. It's so nice to tell people our correct opinions and to have them know that our opinions are the best ones and are correct because we're philosophers. It's part of the job, really. It's the best part of it. It's rolling up to somebody going, actually, I'm right and you're wrong because because I am a philosopher, so haha. And then walking away. It's one of my favorite pastimes, personally.
That was a scarily good impression.
Do we have any more questions?
I think we do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. When Axe said the word impression right now, it got me like thinking about I think, was it something that came up in his stream, the last gaming stream he did, about like how, first of all, I think that the first premise was that I think like philosophers each of us are just so unique and eccentric that in general it would be hard for somebody else to impersonate us, or at least harder than it would be to impersonate like just kind of the average fellow. And then from there, I think we started talking about specifically like how well the three of us could impersonate or at least do impressions of each other.
Impressions of each other? I don't know if I could do that. You're gonna have to give me. You're gonna have to. This is not in my wheelhouse.
Well, I mean, I did Axe the other day during that same stream, but only in text, because he would be like,
I think it's easier to impersonate Axe through text as well.
Yeah, because he'd be like, hello everyone, I'm Maxion. It's great to be alive. Something like that. I can't. My voice doesn't.
Does he say?
That's exactly what I
it's great to be alive. Really? Okay.
And exactly that. Like, if you just played that clip on my channel, people would be like, "Yeah, that's me. That's my."
Oh my god, that's it.
But then
you just like you reverse the statement, and that's what I would say. I hate being alive. There you go. That's Karis Jufanor. That
okay.
You got a 2-in-1 impression here.
Okay, like insert the guys on a school bus meme that like Hannah made, but like of Karis and Axe.
Oh yeah.
Guys on the school bus. I'm looking at the wall. I know I'm looking at the wall, and I'm usually looking at the wall.
And then like, but Karis, I feel like to impersonate Karis though, because Karis is like, he has like a voice, he has like a pretty distinctive voice and a manner of speaking. It's like so there's something about it. It's sort of kind of it's almost like dripping with like ennui. He'll be like, I'm Karis Jufanor, first and last philosopher VTuber and last librarian of Alexandria. Like kind of like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That don't sound like that at all. I don't know why you would say that to me. Try high and mighty? I've tried. I'm right there. Imagine yourself as a shorter man. God. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next question, actually. Let's...
Okay.
Oh, wait. Can I try? I want to try Karis.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
Welcome to stream, everybody. I know I'm late. I'm late. Just you can quit complaining now. I'm just gonna go ahead and start the game up. And dang it, this Steam update. Okay, everyone, this is gonna be a just chatting stream now. We're gonna talk for 3 hours about death.
I'm being destroyed.
He went there.
It's crumbling in front of me.
He did
This is the
voice
burning of
failure.
Alexandria. This is what this is right now. Oh god. No.
Okay. Okay, next question. Zero asked one that was interesting on Discord. It goes, if given a chance to make the life of every person in the world better with a push of a button, would you do it? If you push the button, you die though. And before anyone else says anything, I might as well say my answer to this has a good chance of being yes, with I guess sort of the caveat that like the question itself is very vague. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by better? Like, I feel like I would have to know concretely like how much people's lives are gonna get better if I press the button, and in like sort of like in what way before I commit to it. But yeah,
I think it needs to be significantly better than what I could do if I were alive and able to operate on this earth. And like, I don't know what the number for that is, but it would have to be a lot of good for me to consider sacrificing myself. Because a part of me is selfish and I kind of want to see the fruits of my labor, you know?
Yeah, I think I would say the same thing. That to me, I would have to know like how much is it helping these people. If it's just a really slight amount, then I could see favoring myself. If it's something more substantial though, then to the point where it makes me think like, yeah, this is probably more of an impact than I would have if I just continued living my life, then I think at that point I would push the button.
see, I figured that Axe would be the least likely to press the button, because he's always like he's always saying it's great to be alive, so why would he push the button?
I mean, if I did push the button, I would still be sad to push. I'd be like, oh, dang it, like I really don't want to give up my life, but like, this is important enough.
You would like do it hesitantly, and I think that's more powerful than doing it willingly.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be like, oh, great, I get to help people and, no longer exist.
And
like,
die.
hey, this
Let's
is
go.
a win-win. Yeah, that would not be my attitude.
I mean, it's not like I would be just like happy outright to like perish in that moment, but I think I would be relieved, because it at that point it would be sort of like an easy button version of my life goal. Like almost too easy. So yeah, considering it's just like a shortcut to what I was actually working for anyway, I feel like I would basically weigh the lives, the sort of the prosperity and safety of all the other people on Earth above my one life, and to me that would seem like a sensible trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Another question, Tyler asks, and I think it's a really good one, what got each of you into philosophy and what got each of you into VTubing?
I think I answered what got each of you in what. Yeah, I answered what got each of you into philosophy, but I suppose we could address the rest.
Yeah, would you like to start that one, Karis?
Okay, I give a different answer every time someone asks me what got me into philosophy. I think the answer that I'm feeling right now is, initially it was because I wanted to feel like I was better than everyone else. It was I was like, I know I'm smarter than everyone else. I want everyone to know that I'm smarter than them. And then like that kind of leads you down like a path of questioning established knowledge and established like systems and rules, and then that kind of gets you to philosophy fairly easily. And then the deeper I reached in, the more I realized, what am I getting myself into? I don't know anymore where I am. And then by the time you turn around looking for the door, it's disappeared, right? That's generally how it traps you. What got me into VTubing is Amelia Watson, probably. And what got me into philosophy VTubing, or philosopher VTubing, maybe there's a distinction to be made that I've like spoken upon many times and will not expunge upon again here, is the fact that nobody else was doing it. And I was like, I really want to watch someone who's a VTuber talk about philosophy, and I waited and waited and waited and nobody showed up, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it myself. And that's, I guess, my answer to the 3 questions packed in 2.
Well, I suppose I'll answer next then. And yeah, I think that for me, well, first of all, can I just say it's hilarious to me, Karis, to imagine you as that sort of young teenager with sort of a chip on his shoulder against the whole world. Like, yeah, I'm going to prove how much smarter I am than they are. I don't know if anyone else in chat is getting this, but if you've ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh!, I just imagine Karis from that time as Seto Kaiba.
That's the phrase, it's just a game, is such a weak mindset. You're saying you're okay with what happened. I don't remember the rest of that, but it's...
I think he has the meanness of Seto Kaiba, but not the aura. I think Axion has the aura.
Oh, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. But
all right.
Anyway,
I've been stripped of the one thing that could have made it redeemable. Yep.
But anyway, yeah, for me, on like what got me into philosophy, I think that it was really around late middle school, early high school. I went to a small religious school. It was the only private school in my area. So even though my family wasn't really religious, my parents sent me there. And as I started thinking about, because like we had regular Bible classes and chapel and everything, and the religion there, it was Christianity, of course, and it was a fairly conservative version of it. And that was, pushed on us pretty hard. And I found myself thinking about like, well, are these claims true? Is there a God, or is, Jesus Christ the Son of God? Do people go to heaven or hell after they die? And I found myself not really identifying with a lot of the claims that my peers and my teachers were making, especially when it came to things like hell. But I also felt a bit unsatisfied with my level of knowledge about it. I wanted to really reach the truth and really understand the truth about questions like whether there's a God. And so I suppose for me, you could say philosophy of religion was one major way that I got into it. And a further way was around that same time, I was starting to feel deeper feelings for other people in my life. And in particular, I wanted to understand what love was, because that was to me something that I recognized in myself a sense of not knowing what it was, even while at least taking myself to experience it. And I was just really curious, like, how can I figure out more about, what is love? And so that was a further influence that got me into philosophy. As for how I got into VTubing, of course, that wasn't till much later. The first VTuber that I ever saw was Inugami Korone when she was streaming Banjo-Kazooie during the pandemic. And I think I was just scrolling my YouTube homepage and I saw like, oh, hey, Banjo-Kazooie, that's a game like I used to play as a kid. And there was like a picture of an anime girl on it. I was like, okay, like, what's this? And I was like, oh, she's like streaming it, but it's like an anime girl, but like she's streaming it in real time. And it was just such a cool thing that it struck me as like, hey, maybe this has potential for other purposes too, like, for educational content, especially in things like, philosophy and the humanities, where perhaps that kind of educational content, I think, hasn't been tapped as much as the more, STEM kinds of educational content in VTubing have. So I didn't really get into VTubing for a while after that. Still, I was still in traditional teaching jobs at that time, but I started to follow VTubers more. And over time, I came to think that maybe VTubing could be one way of helping people, especially young people, not strictly young people, but I think especially young people who might be more familiar with or feel a greater draw to the aesthetics of the medium. That VTubing could be a way of helping these people to connect with philosophy in a way that reaches beyond the classroom. I think that there are so many people who have a certain level of interest in philosophy, which is not surprising since its central questions, I think, are questions that concern everyone. But the people might find it distant or mysterious, or they might feel intimidated by it, because in many cases, they might not have had a chance to really study it in school. And what I think is cool about VTubing is that it's a way of presenting philosophy that's more versatile, a more widely accessible format than that of a typical classroom. And also just the storytelling potential of VTubing, I think, is something that can be used to advance philosophy, such as by telling philosophical stories, incorporating them into one's lore in streams. And so that was really how I started to connect philosophy to VTubing in particular.
Hi. There is a little bit of environmental noise where I am right now. I'm apologies if you're able to hear it. It should just be temporary. But in the interest of time, I suppose I would start answering. Now, when it comes to the question of what got you into VTubing, I guess there are two possible ways of interpreting this question. Both what like how you discovered VTubers and why you started VTubing yourself. I'll try to quickly address both. Wait. I was gonna go back to the question and then the chat distracted me. Did you ever find an answer to what love is? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Okay, I'll stop. So the first question was what got each of you into philosophy? I admit I originally wasn't planning to acknowledge this question on the stream, really because I think that it's not like a bad question. It is like a relevant question. It's just that I had the impression that all three of us had already given our answers in the past, and as such it would be redundant to to basically do that all over again. But maybe it is nice to have all our answers in one place. So I certainly have answered both of those questions, and I answered the first one in this stream, so I'll proceed with the second one. So what got me into VTubing? I think I spoke about this both in my Reddit intro post and in my debut stream, but just like with Axion, my sort of first point of contact with the VTubing world was, I think, with Inugami Korone. In my case, it was her stream of Metroid Dread, which was a game that I was really really at the time, and I was I don't know, I don't know, somehow YouTube knew to recommend me content related to the game, and then I saw Korone's stream in my recommendations, and I clicked on it because I think I knew what VTubing was conceptually at that point. I already knew what VTubers were. I just had never watched any. So I recognized her as a VTuber, and I thought, well, I mean, since Metroid Dread is like a survival horror game, it might be really funny to see people's reactions to this game, to see them getting jump scared and that kind of thing, and see how they deal with the challenges of the game. So I clicked on it, and I think I ended up watching. I think there was a certain YouTube user who posted a 2-hour highlight subtitled English subtitled my reel of her playthrough of that game, and I watched the whole thing, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And my thorough enjoyment of this 2-hour video was evidently not lost on the YouTube algorithm, because then it started recommending me everything Hololive related, every Hololive clip, and I soaked it up. I especially got into Hololive English, and I think especially at the time Callie and Kiara, because they struck me as just both being really cool women, and I started just kind of really enjoying the content, and then the turning point for me when it comes to becoming a VTuber myself was when I discovered my now Kamiyoshi, Hoshimachi Suisei, who's from Hololive Japan, not Hololive English, and learning that she started out drawing and rigging her own model because she was just that desperate. and to succeed and so ambitious, and that made me that gave me an epiphany, like, whoa, it's possible to do that. Like, I had no idea how the models were made. It's possible to draw and make your own. If someone who is kind of similar to me could do that, then couldn't I do the same? And that's pretty much it. And I mean, I've always been an artist and a musician, but sort of I guess struggled to think of a way that I could monetize these interests of mine, let alone tying them together and making the world a better place at the same time. And VTubing seemed at last like the miraculous medium that would let me sort of I guess focus on all of those goals concurrently. And I think one takeaway from my story is that like in general, I think it's like safe to say that I got into VTubing through HoloLive, and that I find myself owing a debt of gratitude to HoloLive in general.
We do that a lot. We talk about our HoloLive Oshis a lot. You have to get used to that. I'm sorry. You will.
That was well said, Tia. Yeah, I feel that same debt too.
There you go.
That was super quiet.
All right, singing stream.
Is there anything else? Are there any questions that you think would be good on stream, or are we okay to move on? Do you think?
Questions. I think there's one more question that we could we can get to today, and it won't be a big one unless anyone comes up with anything super interesting in the next 5 minutes or so. I guess I'm just curious to know, did any of you ever expect to be joining a unit, like a VTuber unit or group, like as a VTuber basically, and going into all this, and how do you feel about that now?
Ooh, that
yes,
is a good
and
question.
Good. That's my answer, right?
Wait, can you repeat that? I think I didn't catch that. Or,
yes, and good.
What?
You asked, did you expect to, and how do you feel about it? I said yes and good.
Anyone want to give a less terse response?
Yes, and very good.
What?
Actually, that's not entirely true in my case. I don't know if I had any particular expectations on that. I suppose it wouldn't have surprised me. Like if somebody at the start of my VTubing journey had told me, like, yeah, Xan, you're just going to be kind of by yourself as a VTuber for all of your VTubing days, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I've always been a bit of an outsider, I think, in many ways, and so that wouldn't have surprised me. At the same time, it wasn't as if I had any firm resolutions or intentions like against ever becoming part of a group. I think it was just something I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like if it happens, it happens, and looks like it has happened. So yeah, now I feel pretty cool about it.
Well,
I get the feeling that you wanted a longer response from me for that.
I didn't need one. I mean, I have my own answer prepared. I mean, for my part, how do I say this? Yes and no. I will, like, full disclosure, when you know, around the time that I first got into VTubing, it was, for some time, it was sort of my pipe dream to become an agency VTuber. For a certain time, you know, my aspiration was that, you know, if I'm going to become a VTuber, I think I'd like to become an agency VTuber. And one of the reasons for that was the notion of being part of a group, of being part of a generation. Because there was a lot that seemed really cool about that. I think I'm just the kind of person that enjoys the sense of like community and camaraderie, and this feeling that like, okay, we're all working together and towards the same goal, going to the same place, and rather than just each person being their own proverbial island and doing their own thing. I think that there's just something so magical, so precious about you know, collaborating in order to accomplish something that you know, no participant could have accomplished on their own. I really craved that feeling in life. I think that was sort of a big motivator behind my that pipe dream of mine at the time. The decision to become an indie VTuber instead of an agency VTuber was a tough decision to make, because I felt like I'd be gaining as many things as I lost, and one of those things being the potential to be part of a group right out of the gate with, you know, tons of support and understanding and stuff like that. And for a long time I just thought that you know, my thinking was that as an indie VTuber I would be sort of like streaming, yeah, because basically alone for a long time at first. That my sort of desire was to make friends, but I just assumed that it would take a long time before that happened, if it ever happened, and that for a long time I'd just be streaming yeah, just every challenge that comes with streaming, and there are a lot of challenge, each of them I'd be facing on my own as well, and I kind of just resigned myself to that. So no, I could never have predicted at the time that I would end up being not just a member of, but the founder and in some ways unofficial leader of VLOSOPHY now. I mean, I don't know. It's just I am beyond privileged to have had Axe and Karis supporting me, you know, from the time of my debut, and even before then, maybe. It's not every indie VTuber has that going for them. It's been such a huge boon to me, and then not just that, and then now to sort of be I guess going on this adventure together almost. It almost feels like we're on the same journey, you know. We're all, you know, adventurers with the same, you know, mission. It's in all it's in a lot of ways it's my dream come true. Really, this just does so many things for me, and it's so surreal, and I'm so grateful for all of this. And you know, honestly, I'd go as far as to say that this is, I mean, we'll never know what the alternative, you know, would have been like, but from how it looks to me, I think I like this better than being an agency VTuber. I wouldn't trade these two guys for any agency or anything else like that, any other opportunity in the world. You know, this is my home, basically. I'm so proud and excited to be here, and so yeah, I feel pretty good about it as well.
Very nicely said, Tia.
actually, that sort of brings me to, I think that brings us to what is just about our final or maybe penultimate section of the stream. But before we get quite to that, unfortunately, I do need to step away from the computer for a few minutes. It probably won't be more than 5 minutes, so I was hoping you guys could take over and I don't know, entertain chat for a little bit.
No worries.
Think we're up to it, Karis?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, be right back.
5 minutes? I could do 5 hours, but 5 minutes? Now Yoav asks, now let's get on to the question that has been in everyone's mind. How would you rate conceptual analysis as a philosophical method from 1 to 10? I have to rate a philosophical method from 1 to 10? Sorry, can you take this one, Axe?
Sure. My answer might be a little bit biased, but I would say maybe like a 5, which I know might seem kind of low. It's not that I have anything against conceptual analysis. It's just, I feel like, especially like in the mid 20th century, there were a lot of people thinking like, oh, like that's what philosophy is ultimately about, is just, conceptual analysis. And they took it too far, and it just ended up producing a lot of boring philosophy of language that nobody really wanted to read, like in their heart of hearts. Like nobody really liked that. Like you open up a paper and it's a bunch of formalism and philosophy of language. Like who wants that? Who really wants that? And to me, I think that just whenever I think of conceptual analysis, and again, I realize this is a little bit unfair, but I think of philosophy just being like mired in that state for a long time. And I'm glad that it has gotten beyond that now. So yeah, that is my opinion of conceptual analysis.
Yeah, get him, Max. Yep, yeah. Why must I take this grand complexity of the human condition and reduce it to XY statements? Please, God help me. I can't imagine why you would want to do that. Why would you want to reduce the great myriad of like potentiality in yourself to like if this premise follows this, if this reasoning follows this premise and then we can get here, then this conclusion should be reached. No, man, no one's gonna I can't read that. It's just too much. That was me reacting to I forget what it was. It was like the philosophy of horror. It was I think it sounded like a really interesting read, and I opened that up for a reading stream I did I think 2 years ago, and then it was just so dry that I couldn't bear it. I was like, no, I can't believe this is what I signed myself up for. In the middle of stream. And since that stream, I decided to screen whatever anything that I do before I put it on my channel. Otherwise, I kind of I risk encountering a moment like that again.
Well, in that moment, were you able to finish the whole thing, or did you call it off early?
No. There's a follow-up. I don't from Yoav. I don't think the strongest critique of conceptual analysis is that it is boring. So if you want a strong critique of conceptual analysis, okay, I'm gonna be cheeky and say that you asking us to put it on a scale of 1 to 10 is doing the conceptual analysis in your attempt to understand conceptual analysis. And I'm not going to go any further than that, but I'm just going to point that out. To put the cheekiness aside, if you do want a serious critique of conceptual analysis, it's that you risk, and I don't think this is too big of a revelation, but you kind of risk oversimplifying stuff when you cut it down into its bare bone parts. You risk losing the interdisciplinary intermingling of things that create an intersection is maybe another word I want to use here. And you risk losing all of that to logically solve something. And I think it's anything but rational to assume that life is like a logic puzzle, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would be pretty sympathetic to that myself. When I think about all of the proposed definitions of knowledge there are and how they all seem to run into counterexamples, it just seems to me as if is there really much potential for perhaps getting past this debate and finally finding one set of necessary and sufficient conditions that perfectly matches all of our intuitions about when to attribute knowledge to someone. Maybe there is. I mean, I can't say for sure that there's not, but if there is in fact one, it just seems to me likely that it would be some massive disjunction of like, you know, this or this or this or this or this or this other thing. And at that point, I'm just not sure like how useful a definition that would be. So yeah, I don't know if, and of course, it also seems to me that to speak about knowledge, we don't really need a definition of it. Like we still have the concept, even if we don't quite have the definition. And so I suppose, yeah, like I'm not going to say it's totally worthless to try to find, you know, definitions and things like that. But I do think that, which I realize is not what anyone here is saying. But yeah, I do think that it's just, yeah, not really my favorite area of philosophy, but, you know, for those who like it, I guess, you know, more power to them.
Would you rather, Nick Smith asks, would you rather debate a Reddit nihilist who has never read anything past the Wikipedia page of nihilism, or an Instagram stoic who has never read past the Wikipedia page of stoicism? What do you think, Ax?
I'm thinking Reddit nihilist. How about you?
I don't know if I want to debate a Redditor. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I want to debate like an Instagram stoic if I had to debate somebody. Because I feel like if I debated a Reddit nihilism, like that person would just commit so many fallacies that it just would no longer be the Reddit nihilist would probably be able to sound smart through through bad argumentation. The Instagram stoic would know to concede immediately. So I'm thinking of this as like a battle strategy.
Ooh, fair point. Yeah, I hadn't considered that particular angle of it. Yeah, with a Reddit nihilist, I suppose there might not be much potential to make progress in that debate itself. Part of the reason why I answer that is I think in the Reddit nihilist, I see something of the way that I used to be, in a way that I do not see in the Instagram stoic. And part of my thought is, well, if I engage with the Reddit nihilist, perhaps I can at least, you know, plant a seed that that might.
You're gazing into the abyss with that one.
All right.
What field of philosophy? Oh, you're back? Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt your rigmarole there. Have you guys been having fun?
Well, yeah, no, we've been
not too much
going
fun.
at it.
All right, so sorry, I'm really nervous right now, and it would probably be better overall if I weren't. But before we closed out the stream, since I am not just a philosopher, but an idle philosopher, I was thinking of singing one song today. How do I say this? The song I'm about to sing is not just any old song. It's one that I chose very carefully, and I think one that has a very excellent meaning that is incredibly it's a meaning that's very personal to me, and also one that I think reflects very well the theme of today's stream. At least I hope so. And so I in relation to what I said just before leaving about how it feels like this is like an adventure or a journey that we're all going on together, and I am and my feelings around that. I want to dedicate the following performance to my two senpai, Karis Euphranor and Axion, as well as those of you at home who have chosen to embark on this sort of unknown journey with us. This goes out to you as well. The song I'm about to sing is in Japanese. The lyrics are in Japanese, so because of that, I will hand out. 「 Sorry, did I accidentally? I thought I think I accidentally muted myself. I misclicked and it was supposed to be something else. Okay, there I'm back. Okay, I should be back now, but unfortunately I don't remember what was the last thing I said. So maybe I'll just repeat what.
I think they're saying in the chat that maybe you're muted, Tia.
Yeah. I muted myself accidentally because I misclicked and I was aiming for my background music and then I clicked on something else accidentally. Someone wait. So Ichika sub account says I use a translation device, but I want to become friends with VTubers. Ichika san, 聞こえますか? 制限の決心でありアイドル哲学者Tia Faire です。こんばんは。How do I 日本語 wait, I need a minute. I need Google-san to help me to do this. I'm too nervous. Kyo wa senpai no Karisa senpai to Akushion senpai to issho ni kimashita. And then 私たち3人は哲学者 VTuber です。これは VTuber ユニット VLOSOPHY としての初めての配信です。Did that make sense? Who's writing to me now? It's a subscribe to your channel. ありがとうございます。Your Japanese is very good. ありがとう。はい、友達です。嬉しい。I think that's all the Japanese I got in me right now.
I'll just say for my part, I don't speak Japanese, but I still feel like I was able to follow it. So,
what? Oh, really? In what way?
So it must be good.
What parts?
Well, I understood the part where you said Axion and Karas and philosophy. So
that's true. You did say that.
That makes me happy. And then wait, speaking of Japanese, the song I'm about to sing is also Japanese. So I think I'm going to at this point paste the lyrics in chat so that everyone can follow along. I've just muted the background music. I guess for the at least one Japanese viewer in chat right now, they won't need to follow along. But everyone, including Karis and Axion, please open that link. And then I will begin singing shortly. Once I just get this all loaded up. Michizure by Hoshimachi Suisei. Kono yo wa izui tsumare mo michigai sakashi bakari asobi akitaro owari yo oni ga deru ka ja ga deru ka to obiete sukosu bakari same ta hitori naku こんな旅路を行くことが 人の上理どれもいいの不気味をや雑のうまくいかずに今夜もまた嘆くだけどきっとこれはトレードさ足を引きずろうともこのにじむ痛みと引き換えにあり余る喜びに出会えるのこれは意外なトレードさ明日の入りだ赤信ばらまくからお気に召したなら共に行こう道するにしてあげるわまやがしがばかしか知らない噂の一つや二つ目をつぶってあげるでも譲れない大事な想いは歪むことなちゃんと伝えたいの私はここだよここで生きてるんだよあなたと同じ心臓で刻む黒絵に乗せて進むパレードどんな景色を見に行こうこんな私のことを信じてくれるならどこまでも行けるもう一人で泣いたりしたいわそしていつの日か私とあなたの旅が終わり迎えた日にはかけれ詰めてきた荷物たら放り投げて笑い合おうそんな旅路を共に行こうThat was Michizure by Hoshimachi Suisei. Thank you for listening. ありがとうございます。
Amazing job, Tia. That was wonderful.
Well done.
and I do agree. It feels very fitting for the occasion.
Thank you so much.
Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone. We did it.
If you guys were paying attention to the meaning of the song, hopefully it's apparent why I chose it. I truly I'm truly thankful to the two of you, Karis and Axion, for entrusting me with our direction, and I hope that from here on out we can, you know, go on our journey and, you know, see all kinds of things together, and I hope you guys have similar feelings. And that's really all I can say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do. I think the song's themes about going on an adventure together are very nice and very fitting. And yeah, no, I absolutely do feel that way.
Let's see.
And also, if you need to pause for a bit to catch your breath, then no worries about that. Karis and I can entertain chat for a little more if that would help.
I was just waiting for Karis to say something, and then I wondered if he was still on Earth.
I think that too sometimes. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I think onwards to greater things. I think I really enjoyed this opening, but I also think this is like hopefully going to merely be a speck of dust compared to the greatness that awaits us ahead.
So I guess now we were supposed to be moving on to closing statements. So before we say goodbye for today, actually, I have something to say about our scheduling, but I'll try to save. I want to save that for the end, and hopefully I will remember to address it. But yeah, how about final thoughts and closing statements?
Ooh. You want to go first on that one, Karis?
If anyone on the internet claims to be a philosopher and is trying to give you advice, you should just close your ears. You should stick both your fingers in your ears, go la la la, and then run away in the opposite direction as quickly as you can.
This again, senpai?
Run away while you can. Get out of here. Don't let the trappings of philosophy catch you. Be free.
Well,
or not, I don't know. You get to choose, really. But yeah, sorry, you go.
Well, on the wake of that, I'm not sure I have anything quite that exciting to say. I do have a relatively mundane, I suppose, closing statement, which is that if anyone is just watching me for the first time on this stream and they're interested in getting to know me better and like they're not sure what to watch that might do a good job representing what kind of content I do, then I would say my debut stream is a good place to start, even though it was a while back now. It does include an illustrated short story reading going deeper into some of my lore. There was also an encouragement stream that I did recently that I like to think captures the kind of personality I have, and then some fairly recent debate analysis videos that I think probably those would give the best, I guess, overall picture of me as a streamer. I am greatly looking forward to the collabs that we'll be doing, Karis and Tia, in the coming months. So that should be really great. And also, just as a note to viewers, if at any point you have any questions or ideas that you think would be interesting for us to all discuss on stream, then feel free to let us know, because I do think I speak for everyone when I say that we're open to considering people's ideas on what might be fun to talk about. So yeah, definitely keep in touch with us in that way.
When it comes to closing statements, I feel like I've already said what I can, at least in the personal realm. But I would like to say some words about our group, more in the sort of like promotional vein. So one very important thing that I did want to explain, and maybe I would have preferred to say this earlier, but it completely slipped my mind until now. I might have forgotten it entirely if I weren't reminded just like a second ago. But it pertains to the what you can expect from us in terms of the frequency of our collabs. So our vision is to collab together with all three of us at least once a month. We're aiming to do that once a month, and each month we will rotate whose channel it's on, and host the collab on a different channel. And to give you sort of a preview and like an idea of sort of how the near future will go. So for certain reasons that partially have to do with the fact that this sort of group debut was delayed a little bit. The first collab after this one will actually take place on my channel again in February. The next one will after that. The next one after that will be on Karis's channel. The one after that will be on Axion's channel, and then we'll just sort of repeat like that ad infinitum, just like Karis, Axion, Tia. Debut order and all that. Another small thing, I've been seeing maybe like one or two people I think in chat doing this so far, but since our image colors are basically yellow and then kind of like blue/purple, like I feel like it could be either. I feel like Axion's color is really more like an indigo. It's like halfway between blue and purple. And then red. Something that I would love to see is if, especially at the start of each of our streams, whenever you're waiting for us to come on the starting screen, if you could just put in the, send us the yellow and then blue, a blurple. I'm being distracted with the word blurple, like yellow and then like blue and then like red heart emojis, and just send those to us to let us know that you're there and all of that, to some team spirit. I feel like there was one other sort of like housekeeping related thing that I'm forgetting. Had it on my mind just now. Oh yeah, Robo understood the assignment. Like debut order: yellow, blue, red. It's I'm gonna be so mad. Guys, please help me like brainstorm potentially like what I could be forgetting that would be important to announce right now, because I'll be so mad at myself if I end stream and it turns out it was important.
Are we announcing things we will do as a group? Have we already done
Oh,
that?
actually, now I remember what it is, thankfully.
Okay.
So the first thing is, once as a reminder, we are, when it comes to specific collabs that we plan to do in the foreseeable future, the theme of March's collab, a VLOSOPHY collab, is our intention is that it will be the male loneliness discussion stream, because I know there are some of you out there who are particularly looking forward to that one, so stay tuned for that. And the other thing is that those of you this is about chat. So for today's stream, I see many familiar names in chat. I'm sorry I haven't been able to say hi to everyone or read everyone's comments, but I've also noticed more than a few new names in chat today as well. And to all of you, I would like to say thank you so much for giving us a chance wherever you come from, whether that's Reddit or somewhere else. And I can really hope that you can like the glimpse of us that you've seen so far, and that you'll stick around for the coming future. There is a link. There are links to my my genmates channels in the description of this video as well. So don't hesitate to subscribe to them. And yeah, I just today has been really really amazing. I couldn't believe it when it started, and now it's hard to believe that it's about to come to a close. But this has really been a lot of fun, and thank you so much to everyone. I hope you'll continue to support us.
More philosophy. That is what the public demands right now. More philosophy, and we shall deliver.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this. Also, welcome to ZCG Altera just joined the chat, so good to see you, Z.
Yeah, hi CCG. We've never interacted, and I don't know if you know who I am. I mean, maybe you do, now that you're here. But I'm Tia Faire, and I'm not I'm terrible at math, but I've always really enjoyed astronomy in a hobbyist capacity only. So I think what you do is really cool, even though it would probably go over my head. So thank you very much for coming. On behalf of all of us, say hi to V Theorem.
We totally didn't bite the style of.
What?
Nuh-uh, not us. Wow, everyone's getting a shout out. Thank you everyone for showing up. We are going to do this more. So show up to things that sound interesting to you. Or not. You don't have to.
I think there's a part of me that doesn't want to like go because this is so much fun.
I know, hitting that in stream button, it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I actually can't wait to go. I hate this.
Why do you always like this?
Well, someone has to have the different opinion, because if it's just three of us going like, yes, this is good, then it's not interesting, is it? I have to take up the mantle of being the only free thinker in philosophy. You know, it is what it is.
That's really considerate of you, Karis, to take one for the team like that.
Tia, you need to eat. Oh, okay, so we have been told.
What?
It is a good time
Don't join the
off again.
backseater. Jeez.
I was just reading your mod comments. That's all I was doing. Read all the stupid questions from Discord? No. I can't read all of them. We're not reading all of them, okay? I have acknowledged them. I might even reply to them on another stream, okay? All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. We're gonna see you for the next stream. Are we previewing what the next stream is?
No. Just know that it'll be in February and on my channel. But please let this not be the end. We hope to see you. Again, thank you so much for joining today. This was Tia Faire channel. And till next time.